Well, I don't think he has a choice. So what's he going to do? He's going to go with the radical left lunatics. You know, they're lunatics. I don't think he has a choice. He's a man of common sense. He's a good man. He got off the reservation incorrectly, and that's okay because it's just one of those things. But he's a good person. He's got 80% super genius, and then 20% he's got some problems. And when he works out the 20%, he'll be great. But he's got some difficulty. But I liked him. I always like him. I like him now. But he went off the reservation, and he wished he didn't do it. Well, I don't think he has a choice. So what's he going to do? He's going to go with the radical left lunatics. They're lunatics.
It's fun to stay at the anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on them. Anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who criticizes the president,
anyone says anything adverse,
gets the full weight
of the president coming down on them. Look at this.
Anyone who stands up to the president.
Look at this pencil neck here. Look at this pencil neck. It's crazy. Wow. So glad everybody came in. I'm very sorry. I want to apologize to everybody right off the bat that I was late tonight. Not just late to start the show, but late with the show. See, there was a complete misunderstanding on my part. I spoke to Joe Mehrman earlier today, and I thought we were streaming together. So I was waiting, and I had something set up on Rumble to go at 10:30 because that's what time he said he was going to go, and I had it set up to go, and I don't know what happened. Somehow I misunderstood or miscommunicated with him. So when he started his stream and I didn't have the link, I said, I guess we're not streaming together. And I waited. I sent him messages, and I finally just said, I'm just going to start a stream for midnight. So, and I sent him a message saying, hey, could you redirect to me when you're done, whatever. So that's why it started at midnight. Otherwise I would have started at 10. That's when I like to start at 10. I don't like to start at midnight. This is kind of late for me, but we're going to do what we do. And if we hit the goals and we add hours, we might be here till 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? So I want to say hello to all the people here. We got Kevin, what's up, Kevin? Midnight, yes. Trumpinator, look up the Druski Whiteface skits. I have that. I don't know if maybe I'll pull it up. We'll see what happens. And then Kevin says Jim's planning on going to 4 a.m. We'll see. And it's down folks don't like it when they offend people. That's cool. And Kevin says, let's keep them up till 7. I don't know about that. Trumpinator says his wallet's empty, but he might be able to come up with $5. And he wants to know if Kevin signed into 2 different accounts. Because, hey, what's going on? Kevin's got 2 different accounts. One of these, yeah, that's cool. But, hey, I don't mind. And then Trumpinator with $5. Thank you very much. That goes to the goal. It goes to the goal. JD says, what's up? Popcorn time. And Kelly C says, finally get to participate in the live chat. Well, thank you. And thank you for the $5. And Richard Wharton says, good morning, Jim tells you. And thank you to the person who gifted me the membership. Well, I had to guess his name was Brian Oldenkamp because he was giving out memberships like crazy, like pop, 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 pop. So that's who I would think. But I want to thank everybody who's here, all 16 of you, for being here. So nice. Let me adjust the banner for the goal because we are now $10 in, so we are only $65 away from the first additional hour or Bellavision, unless a single chat or super chat membership, whatever, multiple memberships come in over $25, then Bellavision gets immediately activated. And this is what Bellavision looks like right there. There's Bella. She's sleeping as usual, in a little different position than she normally is. But that's the Bellavision. So, yo, what's up, Elijah? What's up, Elijah Mock? How you doing? Good to see you. So, yeah, so that's, pencil neck guy. Trump has posted some stuff. He also posted this thing earlier that was just insane that I saw, and I don't have it, but just crazy stuff he's posting. Just insanity stuff. Insanity stuff. Hey, Daniel Gagax, how you doing? Nice to see you. So anyway, so the first story of the evening, well, I guess we could pull this up. Whatever. Do this. So we'll do this. We'll do the Druski story first. It's hey, how you doing? So since that was someone asked about it, Trumpinator. So we got right. Okay. So it says comedian Druski sparked mixed reactions online after dressing up as a white man during NASCAR. Yeah, Trump's posts are funny. Like there was another one that was really funny, but I can't remember what I did with it. I had it set somewhere. Oh, I know where it is. Hold on, I'll find it. In a second, I'll pull it up. The other one. Look at comedian Druski sparked mixed reactions online after dressing up as a white man during NASCAR. Some social media users have accused him of whiteface, while others found it hilarious. What's your reaction? I don't show the skit. I don't know what the skit is. I just see this, and then why is blackface offensive? But then there's this too. There's this guy who's pissed. A white guy who looks exactly like Druski reacted to the recent skit and invited him to a NASCAR race. So this guy.
All right, I seen the Druski white boy skit, and I noticed that he looks familiar. Can't quite put my finger on it. I've seen that guy before. I got the tits and everything. Look, Druski, on October 4th, I'm going to be driving a demolition derby car in Bristol. I'd be honored if you'd come watch. For America, I'm up against like these Australians. And hypothetically, if you wanted to be in that derby, I have not cleared this, but I'm pretty freaking sure we could find you a car. I'm just thinking out loud here, baby. You can come out to my trailer if you want to. I got a camper down there, a real nice one you can stay in. Fucking hire me, whatever. All right, I seen the Druski white boy.
Holler at me, whatever. All right. Let me pull this down real quick, and then I will look for this other one that I wanted to send a photo. Yep. I got that already. That one. Where did I do it? I did share it with. All right, here we go. This, yes. Your options closed tomorrow. You're so stressed. What'd you have options on? What'd you buy option on? Hey, what's up, kangaroo? What's up? I might have to pause the music because mute the music because I don't want to get struck. That's what I did on that other one with the YMCA. But yeah, so we got these two. See them? These basically you got Chris Christie and JB Prickster sumo wrestling. It's pretty funny, I think. And this is Donald Trump posting this stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty cool, right? That was Trump posting that stuff. Okay, and you got your your cover calls. Well, I hope you do okay. All right, so you said YouTube has that. YouTube has the Druski skit. Let me look for that real quick. See? I see a bunch of stories about it, but I don't see the video. Let's see. Let's see video. Okay. Okay, maybe this is it right here. All right. I guess this is it. I don't know. This is like a minute long. Is this it? Is this what we're talking about here? It's 2 minutes long? Well, this is a minute long.
Comedian Druski shocked fans this weekend with a bold new skit at NASCAR Southern 500.
This ain't it. This is not the skit. Hold on. Let's see. Where are we at here? You said it's 2 minutes long? Where is the skit? Just all these other people talking about it. Is this it right here? No, this ain't it. What the fuck?
Comedian Druski, Drew Desbordes.
No, I mean this is what the fuck, man. Does anyone know where it is? Because I'm not going to keep doing this just to find it. It's just all these people talking about it, not showing the skit. Yeah. No, not a video.
Proud to be American.
So I guess we're gonna play a bunch of music now to make it so you can't listen to it.
Get it already. Put your shoes in another bin.
Hey, work. Hey, I need help moving. Moving. I move housing. I have money. Money. No.
Tune it up, Druski. This ain't nothing, Joe.
Sounds pretty good right there.
You gotta put your butt in it. Money. Step back.
All right. So yeah, so that's it. I guess I don't know if that was the whole skit or what the deal was, but that's where we're at. Oh, I don't know. Oh, you put the link in. All right. Let me go. I'm gonna look for it now. Hey, Julio Scissors with $10. Thank you very much. I did Google it. That's what I was on Google. Didn't you see that? I Googled it and it showed all these things. So I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. Let me fix the banner. So this is going to come down to we're now $55 away from the first extra hour or Bellavision. Okay. Comments. Let me go here now. Let me pull this up from Trumpinator. Let's see if this is the actual. It says the video isn't. I'll show you. This says the video isn't available anymore. That link you just posted. So they took it down. No. So it got taken down, Trumpinator. That I just put that up. It was said the video no longer exists, so it got taken down. Yeah, censorship. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's possible YouTube took it down and doesn't want it up because they consider it racist. I mean, who knows? But let's jump into the yeah. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I could find was just those little clips. That was it. I mean, everything I looked at, I Googled it, I checked it. It's not his video. If he posted one, is no longer up on YouTube. So nothing I can do. And it's Tim Pool. We're starting off with Tim Pool. Because Tim Pool had Gavin on last night, so I figure we'll just see what he has to say. So, DOJ considering banning trans people from having guns. Hey, what? This is true. It is stupid and ridiculous and completely unconstitutional. Brandon Straka. Oh, go through. Wait, so Julio. So Julio has it? All right, I'll go. I just saw the clip. It was short of him yelling. All right, I will go and pull this one up for Julio. For Julio. Here we go. Okay. That guy who is just proud to be an American. So here we go. Okay.
Here's the love. Here's the honor. If you can't come in her, come on her. Yeah! Born in the USA! Woo! Born in the USA! Hey, Suanna.
She's not listening.
Hey, come up. You need to listen to your nana. Go ahead, baby.
6 o'clock.
Girl, you crazy now.
Weird. What kind of makeup is this he's wearing?
Hey, me, Ma. How you doing, baby? How you doing, baby?
I mean, they even got the fake tan on the arms and everything.
No, I'm going to the race. What race? NASCAR race. You going to NASCAR? Yes, sir. A little bit. You ain't lost, is you? No, I'm good. I'm going to the race, sir. Sure about that? Yes, sir. Find something safe to do, boy.
That was messed up. Now that was messed up. All right, because that right there could make some people like that was messed up. That's all I'm going to say about that, because that could have caused a serious scene, you know, and make people think that, you know, I don't know.
Liquor don't kill us, pussy must.
You can tell by the nose.
Yeah! Woo! Bring on the truth, baby. Oh, that fucker will go. I see. Dan Arthur. Randy Van Devon. Dan Arthur. Oh, South Dakota. Yeah. Never proud to be American.
Anyway, I don't know. The makeup is on point. Yeah. It's that was his cameraman that he was talking to? Okay. Yeah, all right. Well. Anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't offend me at all that he's doing it. I just didn't like when he was the way he talked to the black guy. I think that was a little, you know, basically he's basically portraying that NASCAR people are racist. I didn't hey Julio, hold my beer, whatever that means. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna go on to the story. So yeah, so then so the gun isn't the problem. Giving people mind-altering drugs and affirming their delusions is the problem. Telling them that they're a victim 24/7 doesn't help either. And then Julio says, "Already holding my beer. I'll go get another one." Hey Lynn, how you doing tonight? I don't know if I said hi to you. I think I said hi to everybody else. I said hi to Little Watermark too. Yeah, he was over the top. Hey Mark, how you doing? Yeah, so it was bad. And then Mark Mitchell Rasmussen says they should do it through mental health avenue if they're going to do it at all. See, now they already have. There's already a precedence for this. I hate to tell people, you know, and point it out, but Obama did something a lot similar to this when he ordered the ATF and the Secret Social Security Department to talk, and any what is that headline? The headline is the DOJ is considering banning trans people from having guns. So that they should yeah, that'll be funny if the ACL defends trans rights to have guns. Now, but here's the thing: is Obama did something similar when he ordered the Secret Social Security and ATF and the Department of Defense and all them to it was like a weird thing where like any veteran that had PTSD that was getting Social Security or getting help with any type of help with Social Security, they basically were saying they couldn't have guns because if Social Security, if you had somebody helping you with finances or anything with Social Security, they said, well, you can't have guns because you can't do this on your own, so you can't have guns. And so it was like this backdoor thing they did. I think they did lose in court in the end, but that was because it got like pared back really, really far, like to what they could do. But there is, you know, they did it and they screwed with people for a while. But if they can say that it's a mental health thing, and they can say, well, they're clearly mentally deranged. They believe they're in the wrong body. That's like someone who's schizophrenic. They're admitting this. They go see somebody and they talk to them. Yeah, if they were on disability and they had a veteran on disability, they were taking their guns away. You know, because they didn't want veterans with guns because those are the people that know how to use them. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't even dabble in recognizing this as some sort of class of people. It's just people suffering from a delusion and unfortunately has been affirmed and encouraged by large parts of society. Yeah. And then here we go. So this is right now what the left is going through: supporting trans rights, banning guns, supporting trans rights, banning guns, supporting trans rights, banning guns. They need to know which way to go. We'll see how it works. This is Mary Margaret Olahan, who's seems kind of cute. The Justice Department is deliberating banning guns for transgenders as part of a range of options blocking mentally unstable individuals from committing acts of violence, the Daily Wire has learned. Story to come. Individuals within the DOJ are reviewing ways to ensure that mentally ill individuals suffering from gender dysphoria are unable to obtain firearms while they're unstable and unwell. One source inside the Justice Department tells me. The DOJ spokesman tells the Daily Wire that under Attorney General Pam Bondi's leadership, this Department of Justice is actively considering a range of options to prevent mentally unstable individuals from committing acts of violence, especially at schools. She says it's delusional for some people. It's paraphilia for others. Yeah. It's kind of like a red flag law. Yeah, kind of, which they have all that stuff in there. And because gender dysphoria, all they would need to do is they would need to have like Health and Human Services or something like that to clarify, oh no, these people are mentally ill. This is a mental illness. And that's it, I think, for them to make it fly. Now, courts might fight it, but I mean, you can't argue with these stats here. You got, Minnesota church shooting, trans, Republican Party firebombing, gender fluid, Nashville shooter, trans, Colorado Tesla arsonist, trans, Colorado Springs shooter, non-binary, Aberdeen shooter, trans, Denver school shooter, trans, Iowa school shooter, trans, gender fluid, AMC stabber, trans. You're seeing a pattern here. It's going on. It's going on. And so Stephen Gutowski, who's a very big Second Amendment guy, is not sure what this means since this isn't the thing the Justice Department can just do. It will require a new federal law and likely be unconstitutional. Under current federal law, only people with mental health issues who've been adjudicated as mentally defective or committed to a mental institution are prohibited from possessing a firearm. The vast majority of trans people don't fit into that criteria. Well, I beg to differ. I mean, if you believe that you're a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body, I think you've just adjudicated yourself mentally defective. I think if you go to a doctor and you're getting treated for that delusion, I think that's being adjudicated mentally defective. I don't know. I mean, the argument can be made. They'd have to be diagnosed. Most walk among us undiagnosed. I have a cousin and niece, and they are thems and not diagnosed. Can't make them diagnosed either. Well, I think here's the problem. It's not so much a problem, but it's the ones that are diagnosed that are getting the like they could say if they're taking these drugs, the hormones, that they could qualify that as being not sound, because technically there's all these rules for guns with you're on drugs like marijuana and all these different drugs. So all I got to do is say that, yeah, we're adding that drug to the list of drugs you can't do. And all the stuff, the list of drugs that you're not allowed to do was not put in by Congress. It was all put in by regulation. So, But yeah, if the Trump administration tries to strip gun rights from millions of Americans by some sort of executive fiat, then I doubt they'll stop with trans people. Oh yeah, these fucking people, I swear to God. The DOJ comments in the Daily Wire story don't clear anything up at all. I've reached out to them to see what it means. Oh, we'll find out. Elon Musk says something is seriously wrong. Trans sex hormone drugs are driving extreme violence and should be banned. Because here we go, right here. We got another story. A trans-identified male has been arrested after breaking into a family's home and sexually assaulting their toddler. Danny Senecal, who uses she, her pronouns, was recently released early from prison for a previous child sex attack. Yeah, so here, male who uses she, her pronouns arrested. What do you know? French native, Irish, figured it out. Finally figured it out. I'm trans. That's what they say. So, yeah. There's this story, just so Yeah, the whole millions thing, I think, is stretching it pretty far. Yeah, 2 3-year-olds. So just wall. Just no, it would have to be specific. Makes taking testosterone all the time later in life as females do estrogen. They'd have to really be specific. I think they could be specific. They can't be given drugs or surgery without the diagnosis. As people socially transition, dress up, don't need a diagnosis. Yeah. So I'm saying if they've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, they can say that we're classifying that as a mental disorder. They can just, those regulations are determined by the government. They weren't set, the actual specifics are all done on a regulatory level by the, agencies, not by Congress. Congress doesn't put all that stuff into law. They just let them do it. Then it goes into the federal registry, and then that's how it happens. So, I mean, sure, it'll get challenged. There'll be lawsuits. And I think it's unconstitutional personally. Just like I think all gun control is unconstitutional. That's my opinion. I think, red flag laws are unconstitutional. Waiting periods are unconstitutional. The NFA, the GCA, the Hughes Amendment, all unconstitutional. Any of these states passing gun control is unconstitutional. Yeah. Then they would have ADA protections. Well, yeah, they would have ADA protections, but not, So you think if you don't think if somebody who has severe mental handicaps, like a severe person that has like severe mental retardation, like IQ of like 20 or 30, that you think they're just go in and buy guns, they don't get turned down right away because they're like, no, you don't have the mental capacity? I mean, do they? I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they let them happen all the time. I don't know. But yeah, male who uses she, her pronouns arrested after violent sexual assault on a toddler in Ontario. Yeah. A 25-year-old man in Ontario, Canada, has been charged with breaking into a family's home in Welland and sexually assaulting their toddler. Daniel Denny Senecal identified himself using she, her on his Facebook profile and displayed the trans pride flag in his biography. So, yeah, but at least for the family, they should know that the Canadian chief of police guy said that they should just comply and don't try to stop any of these things. Just let it happen. It's the only way to make sure no one gets hurt. Police and paramedics were called to the home for assistance involving a young child. When the first responders arrived, they discovered the front door showed signs of being forced open. The child was suffering from serious injuries. They secured the scene and canvassed the neighborhood. Investigators say a witness came forward with surveillance video, and the suspect was quickly identified as Daniel Senecal. He was taken into custody and charged with aggravated sexual assault on a child, assault by choking, breaking and entering, and sexual interference with a child. His young female victim has been transported out of region for advanced medical care, but she has been declared to be stable. Oh, fuck. Man. I mean, wall? Can anyone just say, wall? After interviewing the parents, they described him as a stranger had broken into the home sometime between 10 p.m. and 8:59 a.m., assaulting their sleeping toddler. How did they not hear it? Wake up. Don't they? While police attempted to portray the crime as a stranger attack, the National Post has since reported that several friends of the victim say the man arrested was known to the victim's family and had previous contact with the toddler he assaulted. Locals also expressed confusion as to why the police described it as a stranger attack when that was not the case. Yeah. People with an IQ of 85 or lower cannot serve in the military. Trans IQ test would be interesting. Well, there was that whole thing that happened in the 60s, McNamara's morons. That's what the whole basis of Forrest Gump was. Sort of. But Forrest Gump was loosely based on that fact that they it was supposed to be a test study. Like, they weren't supposed to send any of them in combat, but they ended up sending a bunch of them into combat. They brought in like, I think tens of thousands, maybe more of tens of thousands more of people that had like 65 IQ. So yeah. I'm just reading. I'm not. It's a dude. I'm just reading this story. So I don't. It's not. He was arrested and charged after 2 years of court hearings. He was sentenced to 18 months in jail, but released after 6 months. Little is known about his past, a Facebook page has been uncovered showing that he appears to have recently adopted a transgender identity. On the profile, he refers to himself as Danny, and a short bio writes he finally figured it out with the gay pride and trans flag emoji. Pronouns are set to she, her, and his most recent selfie taken in March shows that he had clean shaven his beard and grown out his hair. While it's unclear when Senecal first began to identify as transgender, under current laws in Ontario, he's allowed to request housing and accommodations on the basis of self-declared gender identity. In Ontario, transgender inmates are generally housed according to their gender preferences. Oh, so that's great. So he'll be able to rape more women. The Federal Correctional Service of Canada formalized this policy in 2017, reinforcing it in 2022. Ontario's provincial system adopted a similar policy in 2015. The only province in Canada that's moved to defy the nationwide procedural consensus is Quebec, which recently adopted new rules surrounding the housing of inmates. Quebec's Public Security Minister, François Bonnardel, announced that the province will now require trans inmates, to be housed based on their anatomical sex at birth rather than their self-identified gender, which is what makes sense. You don't want people with dicks running around a female prison. That's not good for the female inmates, that's the tack that the federal government, that the U.S. federal government should take with these states that are doing it, is be like, you're violating the rights of all the other women in the women's prison by doing this. I mean, does anybody ever heard a single case of a female to male transgender requesting to be housed in a male prison? No. High-profile trial involving a trans-identified male who murdered his entire family, Mohammed Al-Boulouz, began to identify as a woman after being arrested and was briefly placed in a women's facility. He has since been moved to a men's prison. Yeah. Hey, Derek, no problem. I would have liked to have hung a little longer, but my grandson got up and kept coming in, and I had to get him back to sleep. And then, yeah, no one cares who he thinks he is. Hey, what's up, Jim? In the Jim Somniac, says G Sharkman. Mother, and Marlene says, these used to be called transvestites, which is a kink or paraphilia, which has practically been wiped out due to trans hysteria. Yeah. Yep, they're wiping it all out. So let's get back to the main story here. So yeah, so something's seriously wrong, and then we can go like this, and then this is who keeps funding these initiatives. This is meet Illinois Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker's cousin, Jennifer Pritzker, a billionaire who's donated millions to organizations promoting trans issues, including a recent $500,000 grant to establish a gender identity clinic at Lurie Children's Hospital. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. I actually was, I don't want to say I built Lurie Children's Hospital, but I was part of the team that built Lurie Children's Hospital. And Lurie Cancer Research Center. I built that, which was kitty corner to it, and Apprentice, and Northwest Memorial Hospital, and Northwestern, and a whole bunch of hospitals I built, actually, while I was working. DOJ has reportedly been having meetings to discuss if there is a legal basis to ban people with gender dysphoria from owning firearms following the latest mass shootings by another trans person. Trans activists are responding with threats of violence online. Well, that's really going to save a lot, to say that you can have guns if you're going to. It's possible he has mob ties. Possible. He could be connected to the outfit. I don't know. It's a possibility. I mean, it's possible. But then again, who knows? Yeah. For several years now, trans activists has formed leftist militias. They are encouraging their militants to stockpile weapons and train to use them so they can kill transphobes and federal government representatives should their transness not be submitted to. So yeah, so this is what they're doing. See, we got each other. Death before detransition. That's nuts. And then like this one, this was as the Trump administration attacks trans people, some queer folks are armed and ready to bash back. So that means they're planning on, like this one. Yeah. It's a lot of transies, huh? These people, well, of course they are. This is what they're saying, like this stuff, if you see a TERF, punch them in the effing face. Sarah Jane Baker, convicted kidnapper and torturer. Yeah. Like this person, this Ian Bristow, I think, is a And this one, TERFs need to, A shame the TERFs are busy doing TERFy things when they should be doing is sucking my girl. Well, these people are all nuts. Insanity. No free citizen should be barred from their Second Amendment rights, but transgender individuals who commit violent acts at 10 times the rate of general population should not be on the streets. Instead, they should be in a mental institution where they can get the help they need. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Genders and mental illness, you see? It's all there. It's all there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't make me defend the rights of troons. Federal law already prohibits individuals who have been adjudicated as mentally defective and other mental disorders from owning firearms. Yeah, what are those other mental disorders? Wouldn't, schizophrenia would be one, So this, all they have to do is add, here's the list of the mental illnesses that prevent you from owning guns, and you just go, gender dysphoria, write it in there. Go, there you go. Yeah, they are showing exactly why they don't need a firearm when they're running around threatening people about it. Yeah, the DOJ deliberates over gun ban for transes. Slippery slope for sure, 100%. Yeah, this is the correct take. The right move will be to fix the medical system so that it properly identifies troons as mentally defective. Agreed. Well, finding out how stupid I'm pro 2A, but we can ignore this is why I can't be a Republican, soft and stupid. Yeah, so these people are, you can't be a Republican because you're a fucking retard. At a virtual meeting this afternoon lasting just over 2 hours, attended by Democrat Party influencers Olivia Giuliana, Harry Sisson, JoJo from Jers, Aaron Parnas, Mika Efren, and others, the mood was one of panic and disarray over how to respond to reports that Trump's DOJ is exploring a gun ban for individuals with gender dysphoria. Oh, if I think about it, hit the hay, does it mean Jim and I are sleeping together? Hey now. There's a group I got their call, but they attacked a man that were renting from him and killed one of their own in the attack, and the two are charged with murder. Yeah, I think it's called like the Z-Zin or something cult or something like that. Z-Zin cult or something. Andy No covered him a lot. Yeah. According to a source familiar with discussions, members were sharply divided on messaging. Sisson and Parnas pushed for adopting a fully pro-Second Amendment stance, while Juliana and Efren argued for a more pragmatic approach, emphasizing the threats of violence faced by transgender people and their special need for firearms, while still advocating for broader restrictions on the general population. So they wanted everyone else to be banned from guns, but not the trans. Which, not going to happen. At several points, tension flared and discussion grew heated. JoJo lashed out at Sisson, calling him an insensitive a-hole in light of the recent shooting. But at the end of the call, the consensus was to sidestep the issue altogether for now, shifting focus to attacking RFK and pivoting their conversation toward Epstein when pressed. I liked the J. Jim cult. Well, that's cool. What puts you at 5? This is add to your body count. That's only if penetration occurs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, JoJo from Jers. This is such. If you see what she actually looks like, she weighs about 200 pounds, and she's like in her late 50s. So, leaked chat logs from a virtual meeting reveal a far more cynical reality than previously understood. Moments after agreeing to pivot to attacking RFK Jr., the influencers began a frantic private back channeling not to unify their message, but to commodify the crisis for a personal brand enhancement. According to a screenshot obtained from a source who claimed they are leaking this out of sheer disgust, Olivia Giuliana attempted to create a shared Google Doc to strategize the allocation of narrative capital and determine who had the strongest claim to the outright cycle. Oh my God. These people are eat yourself. Let's be strategic, she reportedly typed. Trans women are tier 1 for this narrative. Obviously, we push them to the front. As a queer Latina, I'm solid tier 2. My engagement metrics on intersectional issues will outperform a cis white woman's. Sorry, JoJo, it's just data. These people are fucking crazy. The suggestion was met with a furious response. Are you effing kidding me? JoJo from Jers fired back. My entire brand is enraged suburban white women. You're trying to dilute my market share. This isn't just about identity. It's about my goddamn livelihood. Harry Sisson then interjected, can we talk about the ROI and performative allyship? My cis man learns a lesson videos have a 15% higher click-through rate. Does this get me? First of all, I don't believe Harry Sisson is a cis man. He's gay as the day is long, man. Does any of this get me kind of designated victim adjacent status? I need to know how to script my next TikTok. The bait was reportedly abandoned not due to any moral realization, but because the influencers need to start filming their sponsored content for the day. The source concluded they don't see trans people, they see content opportunity. Wow, that's some funny shit. Please don't make me take Harry's side here. Yeah. How in God's name can these neurotics be called Democrat influencers? I mean, look at them. Let's see what they posted. Donald Trump has vanquished the Bushes, Clintons, and the Bidens, the Obamas, and the entire establishment of both parties. President-elect Donald Trump backed by 46% of Latino voters, surpassing Ronald Reagan and George Bush. Kamala Harris didn't win a single county Trump carried in 2020. That's notable. 1932 election where incumbent President Hoover failed to flip any counties that supported his opponent in the prior election, meaning Trump won close to 3 million more votes than he did in 2020. That's right. Number of counties flipped by Trump versus Harris in 2024. Yeah, done. So here's the story from the Daily Wire, which says I have 7 articles left, which they're about to piss me off. I guess I'm going to do this and just share this tab instead. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Suck on that, Daily Wire. How do you like them apples? I need to capitalize on this and have an online beef with good logic. This is as old as radio. No. No, I don't do that stuff. If I have a beef with somebody, it's because I have a beef with them, and I don't have a beef with somebody because I clearly must have misunderstood what was talked about. In the wake of the latest deadly attack on a school by transgender identifying individuals, President Donald Trump's Justice Department is considering blocking trans identifying people from buying firearms, the Daily Wire has learned. Individuals within the DOJ are reviewing ways to ensure that mentally ill individuals suffering from gender dysphoria are unable to obtain firearms. So there you go. They're calling them mentally ill people. That's all you need is they're mentally ill and they can't have firearms while they're unstable and unwell. The DOJ's discussion centered on the fact that those who identify as transgender suffer from gender dysphoria, a mental disorder. DOJ source familiar with the conversations shared with the Daily Wire. Gender dysphoria describes a sense of unease that a man or woman may feel if he or she thinks their biological sex is mismatched with their so-called gender identity. Yes, crazy. Just say crazy. I'll say crazy. They're all nuts. A DOJ spokesman will not comment on specific measures being considered, but said that a range of options are on the table. Yeah, that's the thing too, because that's what we're told, that if they're not allowed to transition, they're going to self-delete. But then if we let them get guns, they're going to self-delete. I mean, it just seems like a thing. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, if you're a danger to yourself or others, you're not supposed to be able to get guns. Clearly, since they commit self-delete at like a 40% rate, they shouldn't have guns. I mean, that's the thing. You're protecting them from themselves. Under Bondi's leadership, the Department of Justice is actively considering a range of options. Given the rise in transgender violence over the past decades, particularly aimed at school children, many on the right have argued that authorities should be taking a much closer look at the warning signs exhibited by trans shooters. Last week, shooting at the Annunciation Church in Minneapolis, in which trans shooter Robert Westman killed 2 children and injured many more, has prompted calls from the right to investigate the transgender domestic terrorism. The Daily Wire reported this week the White House draft national security strategy on domestic terrorism will address specific transgender violence issues. Yeah, maybe Alex Jones was right about the frogs. Alex Jones was right about a whole lot. I know a couple nights ago I played some of that stuff from the guy, what's his name, Owen Schroyer, who was leaving Alex Jones and stuff he was saying. And then Alex Jones did a response video from it. And basically, I don't know who to believe now. You know, the way Alex Jones tells it, Owens might not be telling the truth. Yeah, the self-deletion rate is crazy high. That's why they probably shouldn't have guns then, right? If they're a danger to themselves still. Westman's actions came only 2 years after another trans shooter killed Christian children in Nashville. A week later, the leaders of the Catholic and independent schools in Minnesota had called on Tim Walz to prevent similar shootings. They feared the next shooter would target one of their schools, but the security funding was never authorized. That same year, Walz is working to protect transes, signing legislation establishing Minnesota as a trans refuge and promising to protect those seeking gender-affirming care. On Tuesday, Walz shared that he's talking to legislators about calling a special session to address gun violence. How about just provide security for the frickin' schools, man? Things that make America unique in terms of shootings is that we have more guns and the wrong kind of guns are on the streets. What does he mean, the wrong kind of guns? The fact that DOJ is considered blocking trans individuals from owning guns suggests the Department of Justice views the situation very differently. A review by the Daily Wire found that Annunciation school shooting and Covenant shooting were just two examples of a steady stream of transgender-related violence over the past decade. Democrats have called for common sense gun laws for a long time, DOJ shared on Thursday, adding, "This seems pretty common sense to me." The move would undoubtedly infuriate those on the left who believe that men can become women and women can become men, and that people who identify as transgender are not mentally ill, but merely living in the wrong body. These critics argue that transgender identification is irrelevant when discussing school shootings, and even discussing the topic puts trans identifying people in danger and should be off limits. In recent years, doctors, therapists, and activists, and even President Joe Biden has argued that people experiencing gender dysphoria will benefit from so-called gender-affirming care. Yeah, because it's always so great when someone's having a delusion and you just affirm their delusion. You know, if somebody thought they were the king of England and you just kept affirming it, wouldn't that be a problem? Or somebody thought they could fly and they were standing on a bridge and you kept telling them, yeah, I think you can fly. I think you can fly. You definitely can fly. Go ahead, jump. Is that helping them or hurting them? If they don't receive such care, they're likely claiming that if these people are more likely to heal themselves if they don't receive such care. Opponents of these measures, including young people who underwent the procedures as teenagers like Chloe Cole, argue that gender-affirming care does not mitigate the distress that gender dysphoric people have, but often exacerbates mental health issues. Yeah, what if you thought you were God? You know, any of these things. I don't know what that is. Some balloons? Oh, give them balloons so they jump. Democrats like Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, who cried at the casket of St. George Floyd, have criticized hate being directed at the trans community. No one's directing hate. They're just saying, they need help. They need help. They need help. Help. They need help. They need help. 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 They need some help. 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 That's all. They need help. Yeah, you're a billionaire. Your checks are all good. That's right. I identify as a billionaire. Yeah. So yeah, he's hey, G Shark Man for $4.99, which is $5. Just love this show. I love all you guys, and I'm so glad that you're here, and I really appreciate it. And I'm glad it looks like we're just chugging along at the goal tonight. Like we might go a couple extra hours tonight, which is always good. Because right now we're $50 away, just $50 away from Bellavision and an additional 1 hour of the show. You know, unless somebody donates a $25 or greater donation, or that would be like what, 6 times 4, or so like 5 gifted memberships would get us Bellavision activated. Immediately, something like that. So, yeah. So Jacob Fry, who has criticized hate being directed at the trans community, claiming that anybody who's using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. I disagree. I think we're very humane and we want them to get help. Sebastian Gorka, Deputy Assistant to President Trump and Senior Director for Counterterrorism, argued on CNN earlier this week that there was an ideological component to the Annunciation school shooting. What we should do is look at the early warning signals, the signs, he told Breonna Keller. We should be providing off-ramps. We should be providing mental health options for these individuals. Yeah, I find it hard to believe that an individual goes from getting his mother to sign a name change certificate at age 17 and just a handful of years later is mowing down innocent children in church pews during Catholic Mass, and nobody realized there was a problem. And he argued that is what we have to address to save the next children from the next atrocity. It's not about sexual proclivities of the individual. It's the fact that nobody seemed to notice a very disturbing pattern towards violence. Yes, very disturbing. Yes, everyone watches on Comedy Law. The hell with that. No, not everybody. Let me see who's in the. No, here. There's only there's 2 people right now in the live chat in the in Rumble, which they'll probably go up once Joe's stream ends. I would imagine. Node that more people will join. A bunch of the people that usually watch me also watch Joe, so they're probably in Joe's stream right now. that Joe's still going. So we'll have to see. So. Yeah, so we'll have to see when Joe ends if it boosts or not. The help they're getting is being told you're normal and you are whatever you say you are. Yeah, but that's not the help they need. They need help that says, here's this room and it's padded. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah, black market or manufactured improvised device, maybe. No, it says he came over from Joe's stream out here, pressure washing and enjoying the content. Well, I appreciate it. Won't be long. He just left good logic. Oh, okay. Well, is he ending? He's wrapping it up. That's exactly what Trumpinator's been that way for years. Yeah, it's so crazy. So, all right. So, and here's I wanted to show this because this is the current list, 922G4. Okay, and so basically what it says. All right. Right here. It says firearms prohibited under 18 USC 922G. Okay. Persons adjudicated as mental defective or committed to a mental institution. Any person who's been adjudicated as mental defective or committed to a mental institution is prohibited under federal law from shipping, transporting, receiving, or possessing any firearm or ammunition. A person is adjudicated as mentally defective if a court, board, or commission, or lawful authority has made a determination that that person, as a result of marked subnormal intelligence, so that would be like I was talking about, like if somebody is like a 60 IQ or a 55 IQ, they could be said with you can't have a gun. Mental illness, incompetence, condition, or disease is danger to himself or others. So obviously, all the trans peoples are dangerous to themselves. They have like a 40% suicide rate. That's crazy. Lacks the mental capacity to contract or manage their own affairs. Is found insane by a criminal case or found incompetent to stand trial. Person is committed to a mental institution. Term mental institution. Affirmative defenses. A person. For further information. So all they got to do is just change this a little bit, because this is the statute. This is not the attempt rate. Oh, okay. Still, attempt rate, success rate. I don't know. Doesn't matter either way. Same difference. All right. Now we're going to jump to the next story, which is RFK in the Senate, which was just fantastic. RFK was being questioned by Senator Bernie Sanders that took a wild turn that nobody saw coming. Sanders was pressed about taking money from Big Pharma, and he exposed the truth. Everybody in this room took Big Pharma money, revealing admission. Let's see. Oh, Bernie Sanders. I'm going to turn this up to 200%, see where we go. If that's too loud or not loud enough, let me know.
Every single Republican, I don't mean to be political here, Mr. Chairman, has received PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. Are they all corrupt as well?
And I'm telling you, the American Heart Association has been co-opted by the food
Everybody but you, Senator. But you know what? When you ran for president, we have a corrupt campaign finance system. Maybe you will agree with me on that. Okay, you were already president. You got a billionaire behind it. You received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got corporate PAC money for the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well. Everybody is corrupt, but you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I think you do know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The issue is every time anyone disagrees with you...
Are you saying the pharmaceutical industry was supporting my presidential campaign?
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I'm saying, and I'm Bernie Sanders, and I'm here to steal your money. Yeah, they've all been paid off by the pharmaceutical companies. We can count on it. Their opinions, and they should. This is the big pharma donations. This is right here. It's a big pharma donation. Yeah, right here. See this? Look at this. Bernie Sanders took almost $2 million. Raphael Warnock took $1.8 million. Patty Murray, $1.6. Elizabeth Warren, $1.3. Ron Wyden, $1.2. Ed Markey, $661. Michael Bennett, $730. Mark Warner, $650. Cory Booker, $600. Lisa Blount, Rochester, whatever, $604. Tammy Baldwin, $575. Catherine Cortez Mastro, and then Angela also Brooks is only $96,000 because she just became a senator, so she hasn't had a chance to get a bunch of money yet. Chris Murphy, Dick Durbin, Tricky Dick Durbin. This much. It's millions. Yeah. And these are over time. That was just that one. So 10 million Elizabeth Warren got. That's lots of money. Yeah. Then we got this. Holy shit, a shouting match erupts. The RFK holds nothing back. Are you saying, Senator, the RMA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis? You're evading the question. No, I asked you the question. This is crazy. Isn't Bernie 160th Babylonian? I don't know. Yeah. Trump's campaign cost hundreds of millions. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Mandatory reporting requires any dangerous to self or others immediate reaction. That's right. That's right.
You can characterize it any way you want. I quoted them today. What I said was accurate. What you said were lies. You described
Senator,
moving the Titanic.
Are you saying that a mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire...
You're evading the question.
No, I'm asking the questions here,
You're
Mr.
evading
Kennedy.
that question.
I'm asking the questions,
I
Mr.
asked you
Kennedy.
a question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
Wow. For the first time in the history of that agency, they're going to get the truth. We need more Republicans that can fight like Secretary Kennedy. Take notes, Rhinos. He's not a Republican. Yeah, they've all been paid off by pharmaceutical companies. We can count their opinions. Not we should, yeah. These are the people publicly opposing them. We saw that. Okay. RFK Jr. just dropped a bombshell after bombshell on the Senate floor. Kennedy was grilled for 3 hours and he held nothing back. He exposed the CDC proved a link between vaccines and autism, then destroyed the data. He revealed pharma's COVID-19 cover-up. But the biggest bombshell of the day came from Senator Ron Johnson. Johnson shredded farmers' lies about COVID-19 shot with VAERS data that revealed tens of thousands of injuries. Bookmark this thread. The Senate has never seen fireworks like this. Like it just saw it today. That's right. Boom. See? Bookmark the thread above. RFK Jr.'s 3-hour Senate testimony was more fireworks in Washington seen in years. Farmers spending millions to try and get Kennedy ousted right now, but he came more prepared than ever. That's right. There's really a push to try to get rid of him. RFK opened the hearing by slamming Democrat Ron Wyden for his silence about the chronic disease crisis. Senate, you sat in a chair for 20 years while chronic disease in our children went up 76%, and you said nothing. Kennedy delivered this message to every Democrat. They scream every day that vaccines are safe and effective, no exceptions, but on chronic diseases, their silence is deafening.
I don't think, Mr. Secretary, this is about you and me. This is about kids being pushed in harm's way by reckless and repeated decisions to get scientists and doctors out of the way and allow conspiracy theories to dictate this country's health policy. I don't see any evidence that you have any regrets about anything you've done or plans to change it. And my last comment is, I hope that you will tell the American people how many preventable child deaths are an acceptable sacrifice for enacting an agenda that I think is fundamentally cruel and defies common sense. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do I got a reply? Or Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
Yeah, he's been preparing for this for a long time. Kennedy has been fighting these people and fighting this stuff from the left. He's from the left, but yet the Democrats, it's because they're anti-Trump. They would be agreeing with him, except this is their money. Mm-hmm. We were lied to about everything. RFK delivered a masterclass breakdown of the lies told by the CDC during COVID. The whole process was politicized. We were lied to about natural immunity. We were told again and again that the vaccines would prevent transmission. They prevent infection. It wasn't true. Probably the most famous scientist on AKIP was Martin Kulldorff from Harvard, and he criticized the COVID booster mandates. The Biden administration then ejected him because he wasn't in the orthodoxy. President Biden came in and he mandated it, and then he fired the two top health officials at FDA, Dr. Gruber and Dr. Krauss, for the refusal to bow to COVID orthodoxy. Oh.
Seems to me one of the biggest problems that we have in America today is the trustworthiness of the information that we actually receive from the news media and from any other source. And obviously, the easiest thing for our Democratic colleagues to do is to scare people because that is a powerful emotion, no matter what the facts may be. Do you believe COVID-19 was politicized?
Yeah, the whole process was politicized. Senator, I mean, we were lied to about everything. We were lied to about natural immunity. We were lied to about, we were told again and again the vaccines would prevent transmission, they'd prevent infection. It wasn't true. They knew it from the start. It wasn't true because that's what the animal studies and the clinical trials showed. We were told that there was science behind cloth masks. The CDC allowed the teachers union to write the order closing our schools, which hurt working people all over the country, and then pretend it was science-based. All of these issues, and then I can show you, like, for example, Chairman Wyden was talking about me politicizing ACIP. During COVID, probably the most famous scientist on ACIP was Martin Kulldorff from Harvard, the great world-renowned epidemiologist and vaccinologist. And he criticized the COVID booster mandates. They ejected him from COVID because he wasn't in the orthodoxy. The two biggest health officials at FDA during COVID, Dr. Gruber and Dr. Krauss, criticized the Biden mandates, vaccine mandate. President Biden said in August, I would never take that vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And he came in, he mandated it, and then he fired the two top health officials at FDA who said, hey, this thing has not been properly tested. So the whole process was politicized, and even today.
So let me, in 15 seconds. So I think you answered yes. It was.
Yes.
Yes, it was politicized. Yes. Then RFK caught Democrat Senator Michael Bennet refusing to acknowledge COVID-19 vaccine injuries. Are you saying, Senator, that mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis? I'm simply trying to say that people that you have put on that panel after firing the entire, you're evading the question. I'm asking the questions. No, you're asking the questions. No, you won't get the truth. I want the truth. Give me the truth. You can't handle the truth. Which we listened to this, but we're going to listen to it again because why not?
Will you make it transparent for the American people?
All the evidence is transparent.
Will you make it in advance transparent for the American people so they can comment on it?
All the evidence is transparent for the first time in history, and you were never there complaining when the pharmaceutical companies were picking those people and then running their products through with no safety testing.
You can characterize it any way you want. I quoted them today. What I said was accurate. What you said were lies. You described
Senator,
moving the Titanic.
Are you saying that the mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis?
I am simply.
Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire.
You're evading the question.
No, I'm asking the questions here.
You're evading that question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy. I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents.
Whatever. On behalf of this guy, Senator Mark Warren accuses RFK Jr. of politicizing the CDC, but Kennedy brought receipts. It was the Biden administration who fired anyone who refused to bow to pharma's lies and propaganda about COVID-19. Senator Warren, do you accept the fact that 1 million Americans died of COVID? I don't know how many died. I don't think anybody knows that because there was so much data chaos coming out of CDC and there was so many perverse incentives. Do you think the vaccine did anything to prevent additional deaths? Again, I would like to see the data. That's the problem. It's that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration is absolutely dismal. It was chaos. You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data? They fired Dr. Gruber. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Krauss, Martin Kulldorff. Yeah.
Do you accept the fact
that 1 million Americans died from COVID?
I don't know how many died.
You're the Secretary of Health and Human Services. You don't have any idea how many Americans died from COVID?
I don't think anybody knows that because there was so much data chaos coming out of the CDC, and there were so many perverse incentives. And these are models.
You don't know the answer of how many Americans died from COVID. This is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Do you think the vaccine did anything to prevent additional deaths?
Again, I would like to see the data and talk about the data.
You have had this job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved
and
lives?
that's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration, absolutely dismal.
So who is politicizing? You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data? Go back to what Senator Cantwell just said.
Fired Dr.
Go to
Krause.
the Trump Surgeon General.
They fired Dr. Krause. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Krause.
So, Mr. Chairman, the Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID.
Nobody knows how many people died from
The
COVID.
vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And you are sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant?
This wasn't just any Senate hearing. It happened amid a fever pitch of a $2 million scheme by Big Pharma to get RFK ousted. In July, a leaked memo exposed the whole plan. Before you go on, bookmark this thread. Yeah, there's a $2 million effort to get RFK Jr. ousted happening in front of us. Yeah. Now it's happening, and Big Pharma. A leaked memo exposed the whole plan. Now it's happening, and Pharma is holding nothing back. CDC bureaucrats are subverting Kennedy. Senators are demanding his resignation. The vaccine industry is lobbying to get him fired. Yeah, vaccine is not a therapeutic. Yeah. And it's all about to reach a fever pitch. Yep, they're all trying to get him fired. Watch. See. There's no sound here. Okay. Never mind. I thought it was going to show something. Yeah, bookmark the thread, guy. You already said that. Former CDC directors, senators, public health experts, the media launched an all-out assault on Maha. In July, the Brownstone Institute exposed a leaked memo from Bio, the lobbying arm of Pfizer, Moderna, Merck, Eli Lilly, and Johnson & Johnson. Died with COVID or of COVID, intentionally murky data to create fear. I mean, we know for a fact there was people that died of getting gunshot wounds, car accidents, that they said, well, they tested positive from COVID, put them down as COVID. It's time to go to the Hill and lobby. That's time to RFK to go. Why? Because RFK Jr. Because RFK Jr. and Maha are a threat to the corrupt vaccine industry. Jim was still allegedly stated there is no opportunity to raise capital in the current environment. Investors are sitting on the sidelines for the next 6 to 9 months. Vaccine pathway approval is unpredictable. So that's what they're doing. Their leaked memo revealed that they are set aside $2 million, half of its $4 million cash reserve to stop RFK. They're going to target legislatures and influencers, and it's now September, and we're seeing an all-out PR war from senators like Bernie Sanders, CDC directors, and the media trying to get RFK ousted from the Trump administration. That's what's happening. Okay. Next, they promised placebo studies for all new vaccines. When I was a kid, I got 3 vaccines. Today's children have to get between 69 and 92 vaccines. Only one of those vaccines have been tested against inert placebos, which is crazy, right? What we're doing now is any new vaccine before it's approved will have to demonstrate safety against an inert placebo. And we're going back to do observational studies on existing vaccines to see if they're linked to any of these chronic disease epidemics.
If we're going to make America healthy again, we can't allow public health to be undermined.
Hey, no problem.
Could you explain what steps you're going to be taking to ensure vaccine guidance is clear, evidence-based, and trustworthy?
We're going to make it clear, evidence-based, and trustworthy for the first time in history. For most, right now, when I was a kid, I got 3 vaccines. I was fully compliant. Today's show.
Oh. I can't believe he didn't redirect me after I sent him a $10 super chat asking him to do it, and he acted like he was doing it, and he didn't. Wow, that was pretty ignorant, mean. I wonder if he's trying to tell me something. He's mad at me. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. What a, wow. Oh, well.
Children have to get between 69 and 92 vaccines in order to be fully compliant, between maternity and 18 years. Only one of those 19 vaccines, 92 doses, only one of those vaccines has ever been tested against an inert placebo. And what we're doing now is any new vaccine that before it's approved and licensed will have to demonstrate safety against inert placebo. And we're going to go back and do observational studies on the existing vaccines to see if they're linked to any of these chronic disease epidemics so that people can understand the risk profile of those products and make good assessments for their own health.
Joe asked ChatGPT to roast him. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that he was doing that. He probably forgot. I thought he did it when I sent him the super chat. He was doing something typing. I thought he did it then when I asked him to do it. So I don't know. I guess he didn't. I don't know. I get maybe $10 wasn't enough. Maybe I have to pay him $20. I'll have to ask him what the fee is. Senator Ron Johnson dropped the biggest bombshell today, exposed the truth about thousands of deaths and injuries caused by the shots. My committee has got now over 8 million pages of information, just the first tranche. Somebody in the federal health agencies admitted there was a signal on myocarditis and they hid it. They didn't warn the public. They didn't warn doctors. So that's just one instance of corruption and lies told by the CDC. And here's the facts. VAERS shows that there's been 30,742 deaths reported worldwide associated with COVID vaccine. 9,500 of those occurred on the day of the vaccination or within 1 or 2 days. That's hard evidence. Wow, that is hard evidence.
My committee's got now over 8 million pages of information, just in the first tranche, by the way. What we discovered is that CDC, somebody in the federal health agencies, this interagency communication, hid the signal. They admitted there was a signal on myocarditis, and they hid it. They didn't warn the public. They didn't warn doctors. So that's just one instance of corruption and lies told by the CDC. We've got a lot of others we'll be rolling out, okay? So we held our first hearing and permanent subcommittee investigation on that hiding of the signal myocarditis. We've heard a lot of studies.
I'm nice to everyone.
Okay, as I've looked into science, it's been thoroughly corrupted. Here's data, and I'd like to enter this sheet into the record. I've been publishing this chart for, since really early 2021, when I'm on, for example, talk radio shows and they talk about this, they get deplatformed, or they were, because all the censorship during the Biden administration. Here's the facts. The VAERS system that was touted in October of 2020, this great safety surveillance system on COVID. A few months later, when they didn't like the results, they started denigrating their own system. But VAERS shows that there have been 38,742 deaths reported on VAERS worldwide associated with the COVID vaccine. 38,742. 9,252 of those deaths occurred on the day of vaccination within 1 or 2 days. Again, I agree with you. Nobody knows how many COVID deaths were because the information was completely corrupted. Nobody knows how many lives were saved by the COVID. Again, I think most people, okay, if you're vulnerable, raise your antibodies, reverse severity, fine. There's not any good study on that. There's just information out there, just claims being made. This is hard evidence.
It's hard evidence. It is hard evidence. It's crazy. What's this vinyl pill? Wisconsin. He lives down the road from me here in Wisconsin. Oh, he lives down at Ron Johnson. Is he a good guy? Do you like him? Is he a good person? When the COVID vaccine came out with a blank sheet for side effects and the coercion of the government to take it, directly violated the Nuremberg laws. Yeah, it did. Pretty messed up. Hoax, definitely. Seems to be a nice guy. Okay. RFK followed up with another bombshell, exposed the CDC study found a link between MMR vaccines and autism, then destroyed the data. 2002, the CDC did an internal study of Fulton County, Georgia children and looked at the children who got the MMR vaccine on time and compared those to kids who got them later. The data from that study showed that Black boys who got the vaccine on time had a 260% greater chance of getting an autism diagnosis than children who waited. Chief scientist on that, Dr. William Thompson, the senior vaccine safety scientist at the CDC, was ordered to come into a room with 4 other co-authors by his boss, Frank DiStefano, who's the head of the immunization safety branch, in order to destroy that data. Then they published it without that fact. Wow, that's crazy.
You want to just talk about what you've witnessed in terms of the capture of the agencies that you're now in charge of, the corruption of science, which I believe you just said, that is almost your number one goal, right? Is try to bring integrity and credibility back to science, which has been corrupted by the people who pay for it, by federal health agencies being captured by pharmaceutical industries, by big pharma, by big food. Just, I want to give you, I'm sorry, just the last minute to, first of all, defend yourself, but talk about the corruption of science that you're having to deal with and trying to correct.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just tell you one example, and I could sit here and give you thousands. But in 2002, CDC did an internal study of Atlanta, Fulton County, Georgia children, and looked at children who got the MMR vaccine on time and compared those to kids who got them later. So in other words, kids who got them before 36 months and kids who got them afterward. The data from that study showed that Black boys who got the vaccine on time had a 260% greater chance of getting an autism diagnosis than children who waited. The chief scientist on that, Dr. William Thompson, the senior vaccine safety scientist at CDC, was ordered to come into a room with 4 other co-authors by his boss, Frank DiStefano, who's the head of the immunization safety branch, and ordered to destroy that data. And then they published it without that fact. So you know that story, I know that story, and you know of hundreds of stories like that. It happens all the time. We are being lied to by these agencies, and we're going to change that right now.
I know who Lou Rossman. Oh wait, I know who Lou Rossman is. He's that right to repair guy from New York, right? That's been suing New York over right to repair laws. Why are they pushing a vaccine made liars? Yeah. I never took the poke, and at the end of the 2-year study, I was told I was the only person in the study who never took the poke. I never got. He left New York. Okay. Yeah, they never discussed the cumulative effect of all these shots. No, they never just they combined them all together. That's the thing. You don't want to give they shouldn't be given multiple different shots together because that's just a recipe for a disaster. Taking multiple things together like that, in my opinion. So, all right, we have 75 people watching on YouTube right now, so I just want to thank for everybody that's here. Please remember to hit that like button if you haven't already. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, but more than likely if you're here and you're in the chat, you're subscribed. Because it says we have 75 people watching, only 58 people hit the like button, and we are still $50 away from the goal for an extra hour, so everyone's aware of that, or Bellavision. So no poke here. They want the U.S. to be retarded and diseased. Yes, definitely. You never took it. No poke here. Apparently, yeah. I never took it. I know people that did. My sister had to take it because she worked at a hospital. And whatever. I know a bunch of people who work, in Chicago for the city and different stuff. That there was actually a guy. I don't care. I'll say it. There was a guy at it was on Cottage Grove at the Salvation Army, where it was one of the locations the city had set up to give everybody free shots. But if you paid the guy $200, he would squirt yours into the garbage and just put down that he gave you the shot. And I know a bunch of people that did that and got their cards. Yeah, a bunch of family members did mine too, even after I told them not to. Yeah. So yeah. Senator Elizabeth Warren tried to go after RFK for removing COVID shots from the CDC schedule. So RFK exposed how much money she has taken from Big Pharma. I know you've taken $855,000 from the pharmaceutical company, Senator. We're going to recommend a product which there's no clinical data for that indication. Is that what I should be doing? You promised that you wouldn't take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification. I'm not taking them away from people, Senator. You just want me to indicate a product for which there's no clinical data. Yeah, taking them off the schedule doesn't mean that nobody gets them. It just means they're not.
Mr. Kennedy, you said, quote, if vaccines are working for somebody, I'm not going to take them away.
Thank you, Salty
No
Steve, for becoming
exceptions,
a new
no
member.
ifs, ands, or buts. You would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. Then last week, you announced that the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer approved for healthy people under the age of 65. In announcing the change, you said the vaccine will be available for anyone who wants it. Now, obviously, both things cannot be true at the same moment. So let's clear this up right now, Secretary Kennedy. Will you tell America that all adults and all children over 6 months of age are eligible to get a COVID booster at their local pharmacy today?
Anybody can get the booster.
I'm sorry?
Anybody can get it, Senator.
Anybody. So you're saying that is now the official rule of HHS. Anybody is eligible to get a booster by just walking into the pharmacy.
It's not recommended for healthy people.
No. If you don't recommend, then the consequence of that in many states is that you can't walk into a pharmacy and get one. It means insurance companies don't have to cover the $200 or so cost. As Senator Dr. Cassidy said, you are effectively denying people vaccines.
We're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication. Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going like
that
this.
is,
What does
you
that mean?
promised
You were looking to
that
get
you
confirmed.
would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is everyone who wants it. That was your promise.
No, I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said,
and I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
No, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It depends on the states.
A year ago,
but they can still get it. Everybody can get it. Everybody can get it, Senator.
Yeah, that's just a joke. Oh, no. We want you to just give them to people no matter what. First, I don't know if I said this already, but thank you, Salty Steve, for becoming a member, casual listener. I deducted that $4 from the goal. I also want to thank Vinyl Pill Wisconsin for saying, no jab for this guy. Yeah, Ron seems decent enough. I've seen him in grocery shopping. I said, hey, Ron, and he was friendly enough. Thanks for this. Hey, no problem. Thank you for the $5. I deducted that from the goal. We're now at $41 for an additional hour. Got about 30 minutes to go on that goal. And yes, the mRNA needs to be banned, definitely. And we need the amounts of money paid to each speaker posted above their heads. Yeah, that would be great. Not a new member, had to change your debit card? Oh, okay. Well, I deducted it anyway. No, whatever. See anything else here? They don't want people to be able to create more of us lowly people. How come it's impossible to take swabs and make traditional vaccines at scale like we've always done? I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Probably because that disease was created in a lab, so they had to use some kind of crazy created lab thing to fight it. Because the pharmaceutical companies would not release records, they removed emergency use. Therefore, the pharmacies don't want to carry liability regarding the vaccine injuries. That's right. She got $855 from pharma in 1 year. Yeah, in 1 year, she got $855. You were vaccine injured in 94 and never take another vaccine in your life. You still suffer the effects. Well, that's horrible. Horrible. It's horrible. Next up was Bernie Sanders. He pressed RFK to make a choice. COVID-19s were daily or stand. So let's see what Bernie has to say. So I don't know. I think we might have seen this already, but I'll play it again.
President Trump, who I don't usually agree with, called COVID vaccines, quote, one of the greatest miracles in the history of modern day medicine that saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. Scientific community agrees with Trump. Lancet study found that it prevented almost 20 million deaths during their first year of use.
No, I haven't seen those videos. That sounds
Secretary Kennedy, are President Trump and the medical community right? Or do you still believe that the COVID vaccine was, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made?
No, first of all, I didn't say that. Oh, I said that in terms of affairs reports a while ago. I said today, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
So who's right? Is Trump in the medical community right, or are you right?
President Trump did an extraordinary piece of leadership.
Is he right or wrong? Did COVID save millions of lives?
As I said, he got Americans back to work. At that time, that particular vaccine was perfectly matched to the virus that was circulating then. And I have no idea how many lives it saved, but it saved quite a few.
Yeah. I thought the anti-vaccine had no argument until I found out they wanted to give my first granddaughter 20 plus vaccines before she was a year old. Yeah, they want to give them a lot, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the vaccine wasn't made for COVID. The COVID was made for the vax. Yeah, I'm trying to think. That makes sense, actually. Your brother-in-law took the vax like idiots. All told him not to and ended up with heart failure at 26. The other one with Guillain-Barré syndrome at 30. Wow. Wow. That is rough, man. That is rough. Yeah. Thanks for making it to the end. Okay, whatever. Well, this guy, no. And then here's Rapid Response 47, which is a Trump mission. Secretary Kenny scorches riding. You sat in that chair for 20 years, and chronic disease has gone up. And short one. Play it real quick.
Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end. Senator, you've said that.
Yeah, that's right. Got him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is great. Like I saw this. Is this? Do I have this here? Yeah. Yeah. This is great. You know. What do you think? Senator Kennedy, and then the former Senator Kennedy saying, "I'm proud of you, son." Or not Senator Kennedy, Secretary Kennedy and former Senator Kennedy, proud of you, son. And J.D. Vance, when I see all these senators trying to lecture and gotcha Bobby Kennedy today, all I can think is, you all support off-label, untested, and irreversible hormone therapies for children, mutilating our kids and enriching Big Pharma. You're full of shit, and everyone knows it. Mm-hmm. Senators will also look very stupid, totally uninformed. All they have are bullet points from their Big Pharma handlers. Secretary Kennedy took them deep into deep waters, and they all drowned. Eberville is calling Elizabeth Warren Pharmahontas from now on. Yeah. The Daily Caller pulled this up, so this is basically, this is all of them. Look at them all. Like the thing, they all look like what's that movie? They Live, right? Or is it They Live, or is it one with the pod people with what was his name? Oh man, can't think of his name. With Dennis Sullivan, right? Sutherland, Dennis Sutherland, not Kiefer Sutherland's father. What's his name? Donald Sutherland, Body Snatchers. Yeah, Donald Sutherland was his name. Mm-hmm. Cocoon. Holy smokes! Another senator was caught in a blatant lie by RFK. This is a must-watch. Oh, here we go. Didn't see this one before.
Is Mr. David Dyer working for HHS?
Donald.
He's a contractor, but he's not conducting a study.
He's a contractor?
He's a contractor.
Do you know who works for you, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah.
Do you know that Mr. Geyer is listed as a HHS on the employee directory as a senior data analyst, not a contractor?
He's a contractor. He's not an SGE.
So is your website wrong?
He's not an SGE. I don't know what.
I'm going to pull up the website for you.
He's a contractor.
If the website says he is a senior data analyst, will you at least admit to the committee?
Well, I don't know if
wrong?
a contractor can be classified as a senior data analyst or not.
Is Mr. Geyer a doctor?
No.
Did you know he never went to medical school?
He's not practicing medicine.
Did you know that he got caught in Maryland and was charged for practicing medicine without a medical license?
He was charged by a medical board. He sued the medical board, and the medical board was found to have acted in actual malice and was fined $2.6 million by a judge in Maryland for doing that.
See, so you choose to know a lot when you want to know a lot. It's incredible, Mr. Kennedy.
Senator, you're ridiculous.
So here's the question I have. You brought him in to do this study. I think there's no question about it.
I told you he's not doing a study.
Is he participating in the study?
No.
Is he doing any analysis in regards to this study?
No. What he's doing is getting access to the Vaccine Safety Data Link, which is the biggest repository for vaccine information that your friend would not give us for 7 months. For
Mr.
7 months.
Secretary, let me ask you this question, just because you know the answer. What is Mr. Geyer doing?
He told you what he's doing.
The only one, because Congress ordered CDC to open up the VSD to him in 2002. He's the only outsider who's ever seen it. So because CDC will not give us, they have
Mr. Secretary, is he participating in this then?
No.
But you just said he's the only dude that knows what's going on here.
Do you want me to explain it to you, Senator, or do you just want to show? Do you just want to showboat?
I'll submit.
You just want to showboat for your ads, or do you want to hear a real answer to your question?
Mr. Secretary, you choose to know answers to questions with some colleagues.
I'm willing to give you the answer. I'm willing to give you the answer.
Mr. Secretary, someone should have asked you, maybe President Trump should have asked you, are you a trustworthy person? And we should have waited for an answer. Then.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking gibberish.
Mr. Secretary, let me speak slowly and clearly so that you can understand me through my New Mexico accent.
And then give me a chance to answer.
Does this help? Can you understand me?
Yes.
Appreciate that. Mr. Secretary, yes or no, did you hire Mr. Geyer to do this study?
No.
Mr. Chairman, well, let me ask, maybe we'll just get a good answer here. Mr. Secretary, will you commit to sharing the protocols used for the autism study with Congress and to the public?
They're public.
Will you commit to giving it to this committee by the end of the week?
No, not because that's not the way it works. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Mr. Secretary, will you commit to sharing the protocols for the study by the end of the month?
We already have
You just said it's public.
We put out the notice of funding opportunities, and then the scientists from all over the world.
You're not understanding me.
No, you're not understanding how the world works.
Do you understand what the protocols are? Do you understand what they are?
The scientists who are doing the studies submit the protocol.
Okay, so you know
That's
what
not
they
coming
are.
from us.
So will you commit to sharing those protocols with this committee?
Well, anybody can get a hold of the protocol. It's published with the study.
Mr. Chairman, what I'd like to ask is for your commitment here. I'll send a letter to the secretary. I'll ask for support from the leadership of this committee to ask for those protocols. If those protocols are not given to this
Anybody
committee,
can get the protocols.
Mr. Secretary, I'm not talking to you. Mr. Chairman,
If the protocols are public, we can work with you.
What I'm asking, Mr. Chairman, is that if those protocols are not given to this committee, I'm asking for your agreement that we follow through with the subpoena to get them.
No, I will not agree to subpoena anything. Let's see what happens.
Mr. Chairman, you'll help me get them if they're available publicly?
Yes.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kennedy, with all the questions here today, people just want to know the truth.
I don't think so.
Mr. Secretary, you don't think so? Thank you.
I don't think so.
I hope everyone recording that got that because they're explaining the Secretary's tenure here. Look, 2 young ladies in Las Cruces, New Mexico at a town hall recently gave me this starfish pin. I was going to give it to you today, but after your questioning today, I don't think you deserve it because what this represents is to remember that every one of us can make a difference, sir, to something as small as a starfish on a beach that maybe got washed up, you throw it back in the ocean. You might not save them all, but you can save one. I'm sorry that you're not worthy of this. Nice little pin, sir, is a nice reminder. I'm going to pray for you, Secretary Kennedy. I hope we do better. I want you to do better. But today was a failure for you, man. I yield back.
Jesus Christ. What if, this is what happens when you get Senator's dumbass, really first rate. Yeah. And here, this is really pissed me off. Senator Tim Kaine made a full-throated rejection of our founding principles outlined in the Declaration of Independence. This is so upsetting. Yeah. When you hear this is so upsetting. This guy, who was a governor, he was the governor of Virginia, and he's a senator. And he doesn't think the Declaration of Independence means anything. He hates it, and he thinks it's garbage, and he hates his country.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law and targets Sunnis, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, and other religious minorities. And they do it because they believe that they understand what natural rights are from their creator. So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling. The notion.
Yeah. Extremely troubling that this guy is a fucking senator and he doesn't know what the Declaration of Independence actually says. The founding documents of this country. Yeah. Another fucking idiot in Target. Yes. Hey, Town. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Another effing idiot. Yeah. Thank you for the $2. That will that will go off the goal. And Celia says, I just realized most Democratic politicians, judges are not that intelligent. They pretend to be so stupid they can hardly turn the facts around. Yeah. Yeah. Both Senators Kaine and Warner and Wyden are all embarrassments. Yep, they are. Yeah. This piece of shit was almost vice president. That's right. Let me take that $2 off. I got to hide this. So now we're at $39 from the goal, people. We got about 20 minutes to get $39 to go for another hour. Okay. It sounds like he had about 6 boosters. Yeah. What's up with the stupid glasses? Well, I don't know. He thinks it makes him look smart to wear them on the top of his head. I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't. America is a constitutional republic, not a democratic republic. We must reclaim the correct nomenclature from the insurrectionists that want to dismiss the importance of our most sacred founding document. Fox News says, Democrat Senator Kaine, the notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. He actually said this. And this person says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's right there in the Declaration of Independence. This fucking moron said what he just said and called us all Iranians. Yeah, he is an imbecile. Tim Kaine just said, if you believe your rights come from God rather than the government, you're a terrorist. Yes, Virginia Senator and Democrats' former VP nominee just explicitly compared the Declaration of Independence to Iran's theocracy. These people are dangerous. 6 boosters and a bottle of vodka, yes. Yeah, the best document ever created. If only you only love one thing, it should be the U.S. Constitution. Do you think he wrote that question or some 25-year-old intern, or is he just that stupid? I don't know. Maybe some intern that never read the Declaration of Independence, and he was too stupid to read. Wait a minute, I've heard this before. Because the Second Amendment doesn't grant us the right to keep and bear arms. It prevents the government from infringing that right. The right's always been there. All the rights in the Constitution, the first, the Bill of Rights, were always there. Just government acknowledged that they can't infringe on them. They can't do things. Here's Kaine's exact line. The statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our government is extremely troubling. He said that's what the Iranian government believes. So Kaine thinks Jefferson, Adams, and Washington equal the Ayatollah. That's right. This guy's an idiot. Let's be clear. The Declaration of Independence says our founding document says all men are created equal and that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's anathema to socialists like Kaine. Socialists believe that all your rights come from the government and that the government can therefore take them away. Henry VIII and George III believed this too. That's why we had a revolution. Kaine wants to put us back in bondage. Kaine kind of looks like them, doesn't he? It's always in the eyes. That's the essence of what sets America apart. Rights don't come from kings. Rights don't come from Congress. Rights don't come from bureaucrats. They come from God. Government exists only to secure them. But that limits socialists' power. It limits this. See them all? They want. That's what they want. Kaine is today's, and today's Democrats flip this on its head. They believe your rights are whatever they say. That means that mandates and censorship and guns ban and energy rationing, it comes from the state, and the state can erase it. I asked why Elon wasn't part of the dinner with the CEOs. I don't know. I don't know why Elon wasn't there. I don't have anything on that really. There was a couple statements made. I didn't like what Bill Gates said about. I don't trust Bill Gates. I don't trust Zuck. I don't know why they were there. I don't know what that was all about. The founders fought a revolution to break free from that lie. They rejected monarchy precisely because monarchs claimed to grant or revoke rights. They call their rights unalienable for a reason. No government, no senator, no deep stater can take them away. So when Tim Kaine sneers at Americans who believe rights come from God, he's sneering at the Declaration, he's sneering at the Constitution, he's sneering at you. And he's proving exactly why Democrats cannot be trusted with power. Yeah. Bottom line, if you believe your rights come from God, you stand with Jefferson, Adams, Washington, Lincoln, and MLK. If you believe your rights come from the government, you stand with Tim Kaine and Stalin and Mao, and ironically, the Ayatollah. Choose wisely. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Rogue Thought, for $4. That's going to come off the goal. Thank you very much. We're getting closer. We're almost there. We are exactly $35 away from going an extra hour. We got roughly Bill Gates sat next to Melania. Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like seeing that stuff. I really didn't. Yeah, I did not like it. Yeah, we got 12 minutes left to get $35 to go an extra hour and see Bella. So, And this is part of this too. The ousted CDC director slammed RFK over his recent CDC shakeup in an opinion piece. This isn't a reform. She wrote, "It's sabotage." That's right. Susan is a clown. RFK just unloaded on the bureaucrats at the CDC. We're the sickest country in the world. That's why they have to fire people at the CDC. They did not do their job. It was their job to keep us healthy. The morning I got the latest numbers from the CDC, that 76% of Americans now have a chronic disease. It's stunning. My uncle was president, it was 11%. 1950, it was 3%. Today, 76%. 8 out of 10 of our kids do not qualify for the military. This is a national security issue. When my uncle was president, we spent zero on chronic diseases. Today, we spent 1.3 trillion. RFK is spot on in exposing the CDC's catastrophic failure. The Public Health Improvement Act proves systemic rot. It transfers 8 CDC offices to NIH while capping director terms. Admitting bureaucrats entrenched chronic disease mismanagement. When 76% of Americans now battle preventable conditions, the CDC's $12 billion budget looks less like public health, more like a protection racket for big pharma. Bill Section 3 guts the strategic plan from 5 priorities to 3, confirming that they've been chasing non-core missions while our kids get sicker. With 1.3 trillion wasted annually managing this crisis instead of preventing it, RFK's call to purge failed bureaucrats isn't radical, it's basic accountability. The real question, why did Congress wait until 2025 to start fixing this? Congressional foot dragging has real costs. See the evidence and what's at stake. That's right. Was that Doge? No, that was some guy that sounded exactly like Doge. What did he copy and paste Doge? It almost seems like he did. Yeah. Because here it is right here. See, wow, 1,000 plus HHS staffers signed a letter demanding Kennedy resign. Exactly what that guy was talking about, all the crap that they're doing. Why? Because he won't bow to pharma and the bureaucrats. RFK is making historic progress so that the machine is desperate to smear and silence him. That's why you know he's right over the target right now, the two of them. That's right. Fire each and every one of them immediately and transfer them all up north. Arctic Command welcomes its new CO. Yeah. Great movie, by the way. Stripes. The simple and most effective solution for what is an obvious and overt insurrection is first eliminate every position, then create new ones with our both a reclassification and consolidation of the old positions. Lastly, require each individual to reapply for the far fewer new positions that remain. The new insurrection and efficiency problems are solved simultaneously, and there is no avenue for lawfare because no one was fired. Sounds good. Right here, whistleblowers inside the HHS and CDC have sent a critical information on an active sabotage operation taking place inside the federal health departments. Left-wing career bureaucrats are in total panic over RFK shutting down their big pharma grift and are trying to take down the agency from the inside. They're using the CIA to do it. Here's how it's happening. The career bureaucrats are distributing a CIA manual entitled Simple Sabotage to their subordinates. I have multiple whistleblowers firsthand direct evidence of this. CDC ranks are now acting out of the CIA strategy to the letter. The walkouts, corporate media hits, fake protests, and Senate hearings. It's all staged to systematically sabotage Trump's health agenda. Here's what happens next and why we must fight for RFKs right now. That's what they're doing. See? The manual instructs employees to purposely slow operations by demanding written orders and pretending not to understand while carrying out acts that spread blame across as many people as possible. Here's one explicit example on street sabotage after dark against a military vehicle. Do everything possible to delay delivery of orders. Don't deliver until completely ready. Try to commit acts for which large numbers of people could be responsible. See? Right there. It's telling you all the stuff. Lowering morale by creating confusion. Employees are encouraged to develop a non-cooperative attitude and get others to do the same, paired with this acting stupid to lower morale, confuse department, and undermine efficiency. What they're doing. Lynn says, I grew up with Steve Jobs, Johnny Cash, and Bob Hope. Now there's no jobs, no cash, and no hope. Please don't let anything happen to Kevin Bacon. Well, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Somehow the mainstream media doesn't remember the head of the virology department, assistant head, who both had decades of experience in the CDC, left right after Lewinsky approved the vax for kids. They forced them out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. No, I don't think they really need to act stupid. I think that's extreme. There's more. The manual teaches staff to make perfection the enemy of good on even the simplest tasks. It directs them to over-criticize, drag out work, and deliberately submit illegible documents so they have to be redone. Share the administration yet? Slow it down. That's what they're doing. Meanwhile, staff is instructed to spread propaganda internally to recruit others, turning their mission into sabotage and to mass disruption. The saboteur may become discouraged unless he feels he's a member of a large, though unseen group of saboteurs operating against the enemy or government of his own country and elsewhere. Yeah. It's right there. While employees are being trained internally to sabotage the Trump administration, a public pressure campaign is being pushed at the same time. 1,000 previous and current HHS employees have signed a letter demanding he resign. This is how you know he's doing something right. Keep fighting, RFK. There are deliberate, coordinated efforts to block and destroy his agenda from within. Every delay, every confusing memo, every act designed to spread blame is part of a calculated plan to undermine the administration. Corruption isn't isolated, it's systemic, organized, and being executed by people who are supposed to serve the public. Sabotage at the highest level, and it shows just how deep the rot goes at HHS. It seems to be the administration's full attention. And Eric Bataxis says, everyone who signed this letter should be fired. That's right. Anyone who signed it, fired. Fired, fired, fired. Fired, fired, fired. Uh-oh. I'm getting worried. I don't think we're going to make it. I don't think we're going to make it to goal tonight. I don't think so. Yeah. I'm not going to read this article. I just want to show you. It's right here. The ousted CIA director says, this isn't reform, it's sabotage. Yeah, it's confession through projection. They're saying that RFK is sabotaging when it's actually all the leftists that are stuck there, that burrowed in, that are doing the sabotage. It's treason. It is. Okay. It is. Yes. Okay. And in this, I talked about the story about this guy who was a Irish comedian who was working in the U.S. and tweeted something in the U.S. and then there's some weird stuff happened with his plane. And when his plane landed in London, they arrested him. He's already going to trial. He just got arrested over the weekend and he's already going to trial. And he knows, I'm in London attending the criminal trial comedian at Glinner, which is the guy, Graham Linehan, who is accused of harassment and criminal damage by a militant trans activist named Sophia Brooks. Linehan allegedly damaged the trans person's phone last year after he was confronted. Linehan allegedly called the activist on X a deeply disturbed sociopath and domestic terrorist, which a prosecution claims is criminal harassment. Yeah, at least sedition, maybe, if not treason. For the record, Brooks confronted me up close at the same conference, and I found his presence intimidating. The public gallery is a mixture of press, gender-critical supporters of Linehan, and trans activists. I smell an unforgiving scent of fermented wet clothes in the small gallery space. No photos or recordings from inside of the courtroom are allowed. Okay, so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mass trans activists stand outside the courthouse at the criminal trial. So these are all the trans activists. Free Grand Linehan. That's right. Punch him in the balls. Yeah, that's what he said. He got him in trouble. He said that if a trans person invades your space, punch him in the balls. And then he was met by, Linehan was met by a bunch of supporters as he finished his first day of the criminal trial. He's accused of harassment. Yeah. So.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it, Node. I just want you to hit the like button and subscribe and come and check it out and watch the stuff and participate and talk. You know, I don't need you know, I just want people, if they can help. If they can't, it's all that matters, you know. Do what you can. You think the guy lives in Arizona now? Maybe. I know he was working on stuff with what's his name? Rob Schneider. Yeah. I hope Andy has some bodyguards. Well, I don't know. He might need them. You know. And then this is breaking. Trans activist Sophia Brooks walks out of the court in London, and there's a large group of masked trans militants using banners and umbrellas to block the media. One cameraman was assaulted. The radicals repeatedly made a physical contact and blocked my path. Linehan is being prosecuted for harassment after he called Brooks a domestic terrorist, sociopath. Linehan is also accused of damaging the activist's phone. What? I mean, I appreciate everybody's being here. I appreciate all the likes, the subscriptions, the members, any
Sophia,
super chats. I
went for
appreciate
you.
it all.
Don't touch me. Stop touching me.
No statements today, tomorrow.
How did today go for you, Sophia?
No statements today. Respect it. Go away.
Go away. Go away.
Oi!
Oi!
Tomorrow you can take pictures on the tax. If they got Shut up.
Sorry.
Where are you trying to get to, guys? You want me to do it?
We're going towards it.
Don't touch me. Stop touching
Thank you for being here, Dina.
Oh,
Oh, I was assaulted. I was definitely assaulted. I'm not laughing no one. I'm not laughing no one. You are. I'm not laughing no one. I'm not assaulting no one. I'm not laughing no one. You're running up for him multiple times. Yeah, no.
Sir, you can step back, please. Give me and my colleagues a bit of room to work. Thank you very much. Sir, could you please get that out of my colleagues' faces, please?
You'll talk tomorrow.
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 Yeah.
Some dignity.
I'm in your face.
Get some dignity.
You and me both hope this insanity goes away real soon. Yeah, your 50th high school reunion this weekend in a barn?
Excuse me.
Well,
this is the public. You can't block my movement. Stop. Stop.
That's not a bad thing. They have like dances and barns and stuff. It could be, could be fun. Sounds fun. I don't know. Barns can be fun stuff, And it says, London Officer Berman of the Metro Police stopped me from recording the trans activist outside the court who made the allegations. Berman alleged I was nearing criminal conduct and falsely claimed to have been ordered to stop more than 2 occasions. The officer asked me before if I could stop recording out of courtesy to trans activists. It was not stated as an order. I considered his request, but decided it was in the public interest to document how the associates were using physical intimidation to make the press afraid. A cameraman, I believe from RTE, was already hit.
See how you fucking like it.
Oh, Rogue Thoughts, it's my birthday today, damn it. I want this dang show for another hour. Well, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. And you also get belly cam.
What I'm asking you to do is going to give you a directive to leave the area. You've been asked several times to cease a course of conduct, okay? And to stop harassing these people. You're absolutely fine to film. You can do that in a respectfully way. You can do that from across the road. What we're not going to have you do is harassing people in the street, okay? Because that is a criminal offence. Yeah, you've been asked on more than 2 occasions to stop that. So yeah, the threshold probably is getting there now, okay?
This is actually the only time I've been formally asked. The first was a request. I'm a journalist.
It's a request. It's a request. Do you have your journalist card?
I do.
Perfect. That's absolutely fine. Well, then, as a journalist, you'll know you're here in a professional capacity, as am I, and we're both bound by professionalism, and we have a requirement to conduct ourselves in a respectful manner. Yeah. So I wouldn't be approaching you in the way that you were approaching those people, because I'd argue that's unprofessional and probably discourteous. Yeah. I understand you've got a job to do. That's absolutely fine. I haven't got a problem with that. But it's just, we've got to be respectful, yeah? Just in everyone I deal with, I'll always approach people in a respectful way, and I'd expect you to do the same, yeah? You think that's fair enough?
Your opinion is heard.
Well, part of that's my opinion, but the other part is the law, unfortunately.
Can you let me know what potential violation there was?
So it'd be harassment, wouldn't it? Because you've been asked on more than 2 occasions to cease a course of conduct, so that would be an offence. And we're having
this is a public event.
I know, okay, but you can still commit harassment in a public place, can't you?
Please let me finish.
Yeah.
Highly publicized trial.
Yeah, absolutely.
Group of people, party to the case. I'm documenting it on the street, walking in public.
Not a problem.
They are the ones making physical contact with me.
They're not. You're jumping in front of them. You're putting yourself in front. If I jump in front of a car, it's like a car's fault.
I don't want to argue. Is there
Neither do I, my friend. Neither do I.
Okay, I'm done.
I just want you to have a nice, respectful encounter with people and do your job.
And I would like for you to respect the freedom of the press.
Exactly. And I
can I have your name, Constable Berman? What's your first name?
I don't need to give you my first name, my friend. My short number is 1105 Alpha Whiskey.
Thank you.
PC Berman. All my identifications correctly displayed in my uniform. Okay. Okay. You have a good day, sir. Thank you very much.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's right. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Let's sing happy birthday to Rogue Thought. Let's sing happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. I'll sing it like Marilyn Monroe. Happy birthday, Rogue Thought. And many more. Actually, I think if I sing it, I think I could get copyright struck, right? Because isn't that sing somebody like, oh, look at this guy. What's up, chat? I heard that you didn't. Joe said you never called him today about streaming with him. That you never contacted him. You didn't text him or nothing. Stop singing, please. Okay. I was just singing birthdays to Rogue Thought. That's all. 'Cause it's his birthday. That's all. That's all. I'm starting to really hate the English. I really do. Officer Burnham making sure he looks spiffy in his uniform before work every day. Oh, look at him. Look at Officer Burnham. Yeah, there he is. That's him. Yep. And this is the trans fund continues. This is the Graham accuser's disgraced cop. You're going to in the morning, you got caught up riding. Oh, okay. Yeah. So here it is. Grand Lineham's accuser is a disgraced transgender police officer. So they want me to pay for this, but I'm going to do this and say, ha 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 ha. Disgraced police officer is believed to have reported gender critic Father Ted creator Grand Linehan to the police over his social media posts. That's right. Rudd says, happy birthday. Rogue Thought. Former police constable Lindsay Watson was born Alex Horwood and sacked by the Lancashire police for gross misconduct in 2023 after allegedly harassing a free speech campaigner and critic of gender ideology. An anonymous social media account believed to be linked to Watson boasted in April this year of reporting Linehan and the Father Ted writer and gender skeptic. I think they're just not gender skeptics, they're gender realists. Like gender is real, it's a thing. So Watson had a well-documented history of calling on police forces to pursue criminal investigations of campaigners who are skeptical of the belief that self-identification, not biological sex, determines what a man and woman is. We got a Welsh woman in your Discord who'll probably come talk with you about this sometime. Let me guess, got real spiky hair. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rogue Thought. Happy birthday to you. Oh, you're going to bed? Oh, that's sad to say. Oh, I forgot to start. I'm sorry, folks. I forgot to start a new goal. I'll have to do it now. I have to restart the goal. 15 super chats. Do for 1 hour. Extend the show by another There you go. I forgot to do that. So we'll see. Welsh women. Yeah, they Welsh, all right. So we got an hour to go for that. Hey, we're doing better. We're up to 70 likes, but don't know why we got 79 people watching and why 90 of you haven't hit the like button. Is that dog real? No, that dog is not real. I stuffed that dog, and she just lays there like that. That's all she does. You can't look down at your body and know what gender you are. There's something wrong with you. I agree. So it says Watson was sacked by Leicester police after being found guilty of misconduct, hearing of sending former police officer Harry Miller more than 1,200 messages over an 18-month period, branding him a Nazi, a bigot, and a wife beater. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Some crazy people. All right. This is the next story, which I wanted to get to too. So this is so this seems unprecedented. The dog is more entertaining than me. Okay, I know. All right. Alone. Oh. Bella is a real dog. Clearly, there's a zipper on that dog's stomach. Yes, definitely. But you can see her breathing. Bella. Bella girl. See? You hear her? See, she moved, right? Bella. And I'm starting to get worried. Maybe she's passed away. Bella. Wow, there's 98 people, and then it goes to 92. What's going on? Who's watching this? Is people watching this, or they're not watching this? There's some weirdness going on here. Very weirdness stuff. Yeah, so you're watching. Okay, 150%? Maybe. It was weird. It went up to 98, then it dropped to 92. What's going on? Something weird going on with YouTube, I think. It seems unprecedented. 12 federal judges just spoke anonymously to dump on the Supreme Court. Yeah, Bella acts like Jim does on your streams. It doesn't listen. Shut up, cynic. A living constitution is no constitution. That's correct. The judge is talking to NBC anonymously frustrates the way the judicial recusal process works. What judges own, what they say, and their political beliefs should generally be accessible to litigants so they can test judicial bias and serve the ends of due process. Now, litigants will instead continue to be appearing in front of 12 judges bristling at their judicial superiors in the judicial branch and bristling, of course, at Trump's every move. But the anonymous sourcing will mask which judges should be recusing from litigation against the Trump administration because they are hopelessly biased against it. And the same secrecy also prevents filing judicial ethics complaints against these judges and investigations of these judges by their superiors inside Article 3. There she goes. Look at, she's alive. She's moving. See? See that? She's scratching. Aha! Proved you all wrong. If the 12 judges in question had honor and integrity, they would come forward now and admit they were the sources for the MTV stories. I didn't forget about you, Dave. What are you talking about? The link, you have the link. You can come on. Jason Lizette says, I am watching. Well, and I thank you. And I thank you for the $5 towards the goal for the second additional hour. And I will adjust the banner right now. I could never forget about Dave. We're now $70 away from a second additional hour. Could never forget about Dave. Oh, that's just AI. Okay. Well, maybe it is. Oh, wait, no, he was talking to Cynic. Dave, I'm sorry, but I'm big time now. Okay, he was talking to Cynic, not me. Okay. That's more like it. Yes, Cynic was supposed to be. Okay. I appreciate that, Dave. I was going to say you hurt me. I was going to say you cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me deep. But you know, Cynic even big time Joe tonight. Joe wanted Cynic to go on his show, but Cynic said he was too busy tonight to go on Joe's show. Just saying. Just saying. Agree with Jeff. These judges may end up handling libel cases or contractual disputes involving the very news organizations with whom they anonymously communicated to dump on the highest court to which they are subject. If undisclosed, that would stink of unethical conflict, and the secret yet impactful non-public political remarks violate at least the spirit of several ethical canons. Yeah. Hey, shout out. What's up, man? What a great night tonight. Well, that's I appreciate it. Who's starting to sound like the HAL 9000? You have no internets in the woods? Well, get better woods. Who is Cynic? Cynic is this guy, FFS. His name is Stimulate Cynic. He's been on my show multiple times. He was on my show for my birthday stream. He hosts a show called CG Church. He has a company called Imprint Comics. They make comic books and stuff like that. Good guy. Yeah, so all the stuff, there's ethics. It says political activity. Judge should not engage in any other form of political activity. This provision does not prevent a judge from engaging activities described in Canon 4. And it says a judge may engage in extrajudicial activities that are consistent with the obligation of a judicial office. A judge may engage in extrajudicial activities, including law-related pursuits and civic, charitable, educational, religious, social, financial, fiduciary, and government activities. May speak, write, lecture, and teach on both law-related and non-legal subjects. However, a judge should not participate in extrajudicial activities that detract from the dignity of the judge's office, interfere with the performance of the judge's official duties, reflect adversely on the judge's impartiality, and lead to frequent disqualifications or violate the limitations set forth below. A judge should not make public comments on the merits or matter pending or impending in any court. That's right, in any court. They're talking about that. A judge should require similar restraint by court personnel subject to the judge's discretion and control. Prohibition on public comment on merits does not extend to the public statements made in the course of the judge's official duties, to explanations of court procedures, or to scholarly presentations made for the purposes of legal education. That's right. It says the NBC News journalist published, what's it say? All right, well, Joe, thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe on your way out. But hit the like anyway. Cynic is so full of himself, he refuses to send me a bottle he knows I want. I'm getting you that bottle, bro. I'm embarrassed. It's been a year. I told you I'd get it to you. Oh. He did say he's okay, not fantastic, lol. Published a piece airing 10 anonymous federal judges' grievances with the Roberts Court and its decisions handed down via shadow docket. Only one judge acknowledged that some lower court judges have been out of line in blocking the administration's policies. They are sometimes forgetting to stay in their lane. As Justice Gorsuch rightly said in NIH v. American Public Health Association, lower court judges may sometimes disagree with this court's decisions, but they are never free to defy them. Said not all judges who were interviewed shared that view. Some were more reluctant to criticize the justices. A judge appointed by Barack Obama said that while the Supreme Court could do more to explain itself, some lower court judges have been out of line in blocking Trump's policies. Certainly, there's a strong sense in the judiciary among the judges ruling on these cases that the court is leaving them out to dry, that they are partially right to feel that the way they feel. But the judge added, the whole Trump derangement system is a real issue. And as a result, the judges are mad at what Trump is doing or the manner in which he's going about things. They are sometimes forgetting to stay in their lane. NBC published a piece hiding the identities of 10 federal judges who resent the Supreme Court for telling them they have to follow the law and not their own policy preferences. That's pretty much it. So has NBC News reported yet on Judge Boasberg's comments to Judge Roberts establishing his federal judges' colleagues had a predisposition against the Trump administration? Asking for a friend. Right here, see, as a exclusive federal judge tells Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts his colleagues are predisposed against President Trump. Right there. Yeah. Federal judges tell NBC News the Supreme Court had got to do a better job of explaining emergency rulings. No, they don't. Supreme Court issues a ruling. You just have to do a better job of following the ruling. With frequent decisions in favor of Trump, at least appearing to validate harsh criticism of the judiciary at the rise of times of rising threats. Yeah. Activism is destroying our judicial system. They need to start impeaching some of these judges. Yeah. They can be removed for cause. They should be. A lot of them should be. It says some lower court judges seem determined to burn down the village in order to save it, seemingly oblivious that destroying vertical stare decisis will destroy the judiciary generally. Let's review the latest missive in the lower court's judges' war on the Supreme Court. First, the basics. The Constitution creates only one court, the Supreme Court. That's right. When people say, oh, it's a co-equal branch is the Supreme Court. It's not all these assholes running around in lower courts. They're not the co-equal branch. I mean, that would be retarded to have 1,000 co-equal branchees. You know, it authorized Congress to create inferior courts. So if they're inferior, they're not co-equal. That's in the words. Inferior, not equal. It does not mandate them. And judicial power of these subordinate courts is entirely subordinate to the Supreme Courts. It's right here. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may at time to time ordain or establish. The judges both of supreme and inferior shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. What that means is they could take the money away and kick them out of office. When lower court judges defy the Supreme Court, as has been happening time and again, that is lawless. Plain and simple. The president has Article 2 arguments to invoke when he interprets and considers judicial commands. Lower court judges have nada versus the Supreme Court, vis-a-vis the Supreme Court. That's why the lower court's revolt is so destructive. Without vertical stare decisis, we no longer have a functional legal system. We no longer have law in the basic sense of predictable and consistent rules. We have the whims of scattered district judges. That's right. SCOTUS needs to grow a pair and get their house in order, or Congress needs to start impeaching. Definitely. Cause can be as little as commenting on another judge's ruling. It could be. It could be. So let's turn to the article and the specious claims several judges anonymously passed to NBC to criticize their superiors. First, they repeat a claim that others have made. Judges are trying their best to follow the law, but they're just confused about the right answer. Bella, stop licking your feet. Hey. Yeah, lower courts are handed contentious cases involving the Trump administration. They painstakingly research the law to reach their rulings. When they go against Trump, administration officials and their allies criticize the judges in harsh terms. The government appeals to the Supreme Court with a 6-3 conservative majority. The Supreme Court, in emergency ruling, swiftly rejects the judge's decision with little to no explanation. Has everyone been listening to a recording of Jim Jones talking to his cult followers and drinking the Kool-Aid? I had no idea it existed until yesterday. Technically, it wasn't Kool-Aid, it was Flavor Aid. So let's get the facts straight. But yeah, it's pretty, his recordings are pretty immense. If you want to listen to a great podcast explaining the whole Jim Jones, the whole Jim Jones thing, that Daryl Cooper of the Martyr Made podcast has an awesome podcast about Jim Jones. I think it's like 6 or 7 parts, and it's great. Y'all, those tearing it all down are active members of the psychotropic prescription drug addicted society. Out U.S. scripts are all manufactured in China. China is tweaking and tainting those medications. Yeah. It's terrific. The recordings are available on Wikipedia. Yeah, but if you want to let him explain how, what Jim Jones, how he started, how his whole thing, what he did. He started in Indiana, I believe, and then went to California, I think. It's been a while since this guy says, come on, man. Some judges are taking extreme positions. Supreme Court emergency orders are not binding. The Supreme Court stated TRO, but not the identical PI. Claims for money can be in district courts if they involve constitutional claims to rule against the administration. Those judges are not attempting to rule in a manner consistent with how the Supreme Court would apply the law. They are trying to manipulate the law to achieve their preferred outcome. That's an imposition that will not be the application of law. These judges then incredibly have the gall to complain about their willfulness meeting a predictable, swift demise at the Supreme Court. Tip, if you don't want to look like you did shoddy work, then start following Supreme Court's lead. 10 judges who spoke to NBC News tell us courts do a better job explaining the rules, noting that terse decisions leave lower court with little guidance on how to proceed, but that they have new and concerning effect, the judges said. Validating the Trump administration's criticism, a short rebuttal from Supreme Court, they argue, makes it seem like they did shoddy work and are biased against Trump. Because they are, and they did. I mean, that's the bottom line. One judge complains that the Supreme Court isn't backing up the lower courts. A truly astonishing claim. The justices took an oath to uphold the law, not get the backs of the lower courts trying to wage war on the executive branch. I mean, these idiots think that they're like, oh, the Supreme Court should get our backs against the executive branch. What? No, the Supreme Court enforces the Constitution. That's it. That's all they do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There you go. Fix Bella's cam so you guys can see her face better. All right. Mm-hmm. Many were forced to drink the poison. I think so. I think a bunch of kids were forced to drink the poison. It's inexcusable, a judge said, Supreme Court justice. They don't have our backs. Yeah, that was definitely a woman who said that. Guaranteed. Guaranteed that was a woman. Some of the judges claim the Chief Justice should speak out as he has otherwise thrown them under the bus. First, the Chief Justice should, in my view, speak out in official communications, primarily opinions. Press statements are too political for the justices. The tension is so high. 4 of the justices said they believe the Supreme Court, and specifically Roberts, the head of the judiciary, should do more to defend the courts. The Supreme Court, a second judge said, is effectively assisting the Trump administration in undermining the lower courts, leaving district and appeals court judges thrown under the bus. They're enforcing the law. The lower courts, you district court judges, are not the president. You keep trying to become the president and think you can tell the president what to do. You can't. Holy shit. Second, and again, when lower court judges assert their power based on will rather than law, they are jumping under the bus. Nobody is throwing them there. And the Supreme Court is duty bound to correct such errors. Want less criticism? Do better law, or do law better. Nor do I have sympathy for the criticism that justices need to write more for the public's sake. The justices are dealing with an unprecedented onslaught of lower court emergency orders against the administration. Of course, they will be issuing more emergency orders too. The Supreme Court has an obligation to explain rulings in a way the public can understand, a third judge said, adding that when the court so frequently rules for the administration of emergency cases without fully telling the people why, it sends a signal. The court has had strong left-leaning majorities in the past, but what's different now is the role of emergency cases are playing in public discourse. At least one of our anonymous judges, and a bottom appointee, we are told, can see what's really going on here. The whole Trump derangement syndrome is really an issue. As a result, judges are mad at what Trump is doing or in the manner he's going about things. They are sometimes forgetting to stay in their lane. What's happening? Hamilton wrote in Federalist 78 that the judiciary is the least dangerous branch because it has neither force nor will, but mere judgment. Though lawless orders, inappropriate leaks, and other acts of defiance, some lower court judges are testing that proposition. Right here. I can't read this because it says something that it's covered up, so I can't read it. District judges have life tenure to ensure they have the independence to apply the law correctly. It's not so they can apply the law they wish existed. Justice Gorsuch was correct to admonish the lower courts. The Supreme Court must remain resolute in its effort enforcing its dictates. The end. Lower court judges may sometimes disagree with this court's decisions, but they are never free to defy them. Thus was it predicted. The only part he got wrong was not imagining that this American aristocracy would in time develop the exact same tyrannical attitudes as a contempt for a subject populace as its French counterpart. This was the backdrop from Tocqueville's passage in Democracy in America. If I were asked where a place in American aristocracy, I would reply with hesitation that it's not composed of the rich who are united together by no common tie, but it occupies the judicial bench and the bar. The more we reflect upon all that occurs in the United States, the more shall we be persuaded that the lawyers as a body form the most powerful, if not the only counterpoise to the democratic element. In that country, we perceive how elementally the legal profession is qualified by its powers, even by its defect, to neutralize the vices by which inherent popular government, when the American people is intoxicated by passion or carried away by impetuosity of ideas, it is checked and stopped by almost invisible influence of its legal counselors, who secretly oppose the aristocratic precipices of its democratic instincts, their superstitious attachment to what antique of its love of novelty, their narrow views of its immense design, and their habitual procrastinations to its ardent impatience. Scarcely any questions arise in the United States which do not become sooner or later a subject of judicial debate. Hence, all parties are obliged to borrow the ideas and even the language usual in judicial proceedings in their daily controversies. As most public men are or have been legal practitioners, they introduce the customs and technicalities of the profession into the affairs of the country. Wow. Yeah, the Supreme Court does need to swat this down quickly. The Supreme Court should put out a missive saying, whatever judges did this, we need to know immediately. We want to know your names. Come and talk to us. We have a problem. And this person says they've been practicing for 25 years and they're gobsmacked by this conduct of these judges. It needs to be sanctioned by the SCOTUS per their supervising authority. Well, you know that all these judges are on the DC circuit, so not hard to figure out who they are. This guy says they find it below, quote, the best of all the bunch. A judge staying in his lane doesn't mean having to allow Trump to do whatever he wants, but it does mean allowing Trump to do whatever he's allowed to do. All the judge has to do is rely entirely on the law. That's right. SCOTUS needs to deal with this immediately. The judicial system only survives when people believe it's impartial. The Supreme Court only survives when people believe it's the ultimate law of the land. When district court judges insert politics into their decisions and take it one step further to criticize or even defy the Supreme Court, it undermines the entire judicial process. When the Supreme Court fails to keep the district courts in check, the system collapses. As the medical professions learned when it politicized the virus, once you reach the point where the people no longer believe you or trust you, it's almost impossible to gain it back quickly. That's right, you won't gain it back quickly. You will not gain it back quickly. Right, you won't gain it back quickly. Unfortunately, there are leftists on the Supreme Court who are biased. No, it is true. Phil Holloway says 12 anonymous federal judges are caroning the Supreme Court. To NBC News. It's inexcusable, one judge said. They don't have our backs. Another judge said lower courts are being thrown under a bus. It's not SCOTUS's job to have your backs, for fuck's sake. The TDS is strong in these idiots. Yeah. The fear for the safety of the federal judges fear for safety as the Supreme Court sides with the Trump administration. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. That a fourth judge, however, appointed by Barack Obama, conceded that several judges have been out of line with their rulings against Trump. The whole Trump deranged syndrome, the real issue. As a result, these judges are mad at what Trump is doing or the manner he's going about things. They are simply forgetting to stay in their lane. That's right. Now, Greg Price says 10 federal judges gave anonymous quotes to NBC News. I thought it was 12. Which is it, 10 or 12? And they're mad about SCOTUS ruling against them. According to the judge, the Supreme Court is making it seem like they did shoddy work or are biased against Trump. Well, maybe the shoe fits, as they say. We have Senator Eric Schmidt, who was formerly the Attorney General of the great state of Missouri, or Missouri, depending on how you want to say it. Judges should judge by the law of the land, not their political opinions. Well, they're supposed to do that, but most don't. You see the brainwashed masses in Canada fearing Trump more than God. Yeah, that's crazy. Language is the fine weapon of the left. They are masters at making the absurd reasonable. Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah. Wow, even an Obama judge admitted to TDS. I absolutely agree. From Boasberg to Sparkle to countless others, TDS is threatening ruin Article 3. That's why we need President Trump's nominees like Jen Mascott on the bench. Over the past several months, we have seen an unprecedented wave of rogue district judges defying the Supreme Court. My message to President Trump's newest appellate judge nominee, Professor Jen Mascott, ensure these rogue district judges adhere to Supreme Court precedent.
Recent months, the Chief Justice, Justice Kavanaugh, and Justice Gorsuch all emphasized the need for lower court judges to give some level of precedential weight to Supreme Court emergency docket decisions. And interestingly, many Democrat-appointed judges are refusing to do that. I heard a lot during the initial confirmation process from my Democrat colleagues about how they were so concerned that President Trump wasn't going to obey court orders. Well, it turns out district court judges appointed by Democrats with overtly partisan leanings are refusing to obey orders from the Supreme Court on questions that are four corners. There's no distinguishing. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah, they're actually quoting the dissent in their decisions.
As a Third Circuit judge, will you respect Supreme Court precedent and emergency docket decisions?
Senator, yes, I will respect all Supreme Court precedent.
Recent months, the Chief Justice.
Good news. President Trump's nominees have the courage to act decisively. Yesterday, Professor Mascott appeared before us at the Senate Judiciary Committee to testify about her nomination. He has no qualms about telling rogue district judges to fall in line and stay in their lane.
So if a lower court judge were ignoring the Supreme Court, like my friends on the other side have wanted to juice up the public that President Trump would do, which he's never done, you would have the courage in that moment to say to that lower court judge, you need to follow actually the Supreme Court precedent and ruling here.
If I thought a lower court decision was incorrect with that Supreme Court precedent, yes, I absolutely would reverse it and make it be, if I had jurisdiction, and make it be consistent with the Supreme Court precedent. Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations. I think you're going to be great on the bench. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Klobuchar. Thank you.
So if
I saw some of the Democrats questioning her, and one guy goes, "Yeah, but you're not licensed to practice in Delaware, and the appeals court you're on is represents Delaware." And judges don't have to be members of the bar; they don't have to submit themselves to the Delaware bar. Here's the thing: President Trump's judicial nominees are outstanding, and the data backs that up. Recent scholarship confirms their exceptional impact on our federal courts. The most influential judges are Trump appointees. Here's how Democrats can respond. Oh, what do you know? Yeah, October 15, 2024. That was before Trump was reelected. A large part of the problems we have faced since January is that Biden nominated And Democrats confirmed a historic number of radicals to lifetime positions. It's going to take 30 years to unwind this mess. Head over to vote no on one of Biden's radical judges seeking a lifetime appointment. This judge makes litigants announce their pronouns. Yeah, that was crazy. Thanks to President Trump, we have a Supreme Court that's interested in rule of law, not creating leftist talking points, and the courage and common sense to drive these rogue judges crazy. They're running to the media to complain. After 4 years of lawlessness, President Trump is going to continue to uphold his promise and restore law and order, whether it's in the streets of inner cities or on the bench in our federal courthouses. President Trump is quickly filling the vacancies on our federal courts, especially at the appellate level. We need judges who are eligible to take senior status to do so and allow President Trump to appoint their successor. The story of Trump's second term is a lack of judgeships to fill. There's never been a Senate that's better positioned to confirm conservative judges, but not since the first Bush administration to have the bench. There have been so few. Yeah. That's because they said they were going to take judges eligible for senior status must not buy into this fake media narrative that President Trump threatens our courts. The opposite is true. If a Democrat appoints your successor, they could threaten the rule of law. Yeah, President Biden said it's a nominee who didn't know the basics of the U.S. Constitution. Judge Bajekal is now about to bow out. Oh, let's see what this was.
Judge on the far end. Tell me what Article 5 of the Constitution does.
Article 5 is not coming to mind at the moment.
Okay. How about Article 2?
Neither is Article 2.
Okay. Do you know what purposivism is?
In my 12 years as an assistant attorney general and my 9 years serving as a judge, I was not faced with that precise question. We are the highest trial court in Washington state, so I'm frequently faced with issues that I'm not familiar with, and I thoroughly review the law, research, and apply the law to the.
Well, that should scare the shit out of anybody in Washington state that this lady sat on the highest court in the state of Washington and didn't know what Article 2 of the Constitution was, didn't know what Article 5 of the Constitution was. That's insane. Insane.
Facts presented to me.
Well, you're going to be faced with it if you're confirmed. I can assure you of that.
As for me, I will keep fighting like hell to ensure the new judges we confirm have the common sense and the courage to do what's right. Taking care of the issue would solve a lot of problems in our courtrooms. Clinton Goon and color revolutionist Norm Eisen. Yeah, this guy's got to get taken. He's got to get prosecuted. Yeah. Oh man, why is none of this working? And Rep. Eli Kaine says activist judges are so out of control that they don't even respect the Supreme Court. Why again can't we impeach them or do anything to hold them accountable? A rare interview, federal judges criticize the Supreme Court's handling of the Trump cases. So they're violating the canons of the court. They could be removed from the bench for it. You need to find out who they are. You need to find out their names. Find out their names and prosecute them. Yep, she's one of your judges, of course. I don't know. She might have actually had to step off the bench to take that nomination, and she ended up getting withdrawn. So I don't know if she's still on the bench. You could look it up. Look, her name was pretty easy to, figure out. Federal judges anonymously criticize the Supreme Court for overturning their decisions with emergency rulings. So yeah, so we're not gonna read too much into this because it's just saying a group of anonymous judges. We read all into this, so we're just gonna keep going, keep moving. Yeah, and here's the actual article, which I'm not gonna read because I don't care. We basically covered it all. In rare interviews, yeah, because it's not supposed to happen. Federal judges criticize Supreme Court's handling of Trump cases. Oh, this is one I saw. This is crazy because this is probably one of the judges right here. This judge that this guy's going to talk about is probably one of the judges that did this shit. Federal judge erupts at the Justice Department in hearing, says the Trump administration is playing cops and robbers like children in Washington right now, an embarrassment and shame. Yeah, because they're saying this because the grand jury is refusing to indict people because it's all politically corrupted and they all have TDS in Washington.
Hey, it's Scott McFarland at DC Federal Court. I just stepped outside to brief you on what just happened because it was quite something. Judge Sia Faragui just uncorked a 20-minute raised voice stem winder against the Department of Justice, accusing the feds and the administration of creating a constitutional crisis. It went on so long and so powerfully, he concluded by saying it's September 4th. As of now, we still have a constitutional democracy. Here's what happened. The feds, 30 minutes before...
We don't have a constitutional democracy. We have a constitutional republic. What, you fucking asshole. You're supposed to... Who the fuck are you, Scott McFarland? Don't you know what the fuck it says in the Constitution?
Edward Dana announced they were dismissing the felony charge against Edward Dana, the latest in a series of federal cases they have sought to dismiss amid this Trump DC clampdown on all the recent arrests. Dana was accused of breaking a light fixture, of being drunk, of allegedly claiming that he was part of the Russian mafia, that he wanted to fight fascism, even if it meant killing a president. Those were the accusations. The feds brought a felony charge of threats against the president. The defense attorney said even a 15-year-old would know that's not a felony threat against president type case. But Dana was locked up for a week. And just before his preliminary hearing, the feds say the felony case is gone. The judge, Sia Faragui, said this is happening too much.
Sia Faragui. Oh, it sounds American.
Too many dropped cases, that there's embarrassment and shame for the Department of Justice. And that the message to people who look like Mr. Dana is, be very afraid. And the judge went on from there, saying that the defense may have remedies for false imprisonment, may seek money. And the judge also argued that it's...
So the judge should actually get sanctioned and get removed because he's giving legal advice to the defense. It's not his job. He shouldn't be commenting about the case in front of him.
September 4th. As of now, he says, we still have a constitutional democracy.
We don't. It's a republic.
The Department of Justice hand over answers as to how this happened and how this keeps happening in the recent cases. The judge says we're acting like this is normal. It seems like the feds are making arrests first and asking questions or seeing if it's okay later, and then made this allusion, saying the administration seems to be playing cops and robbers like children, that they seem to have time to issue stats on Twitter and Truth Social, he said, about arrests, but doesn't seem to have time to answer for the people who are mistakenly arrested. Edward Dana walked out of court a few minutes ago, a free man. His case is now over.
Yeah, the guy who threatened Trump. Still dealing with PTSD, just such a pathetic loser. Yeah. CBS News reporter Scott McFarland says he got PTSD from Trump assassination attempt because of crowd anger at media. Yeah. Lefties love crime and especially criminals. They will defend chaos and make videos about it. Wonder why they lost in 2024, including any swing state? Yeah. Julie Kelly says, every day I wonder what it'll take to get Republicans in Washington to defund and shut down the federal courthouse in D.C. An absolutely inexcusable outburst from Magistrate Judge Sia Faragui today in court. This asshole signed hundreds of arrest warrants on January 6th and never raised a single eyebrow about the Biden DOJ's abusive tactics, including the use of corporate fraud statute overturned by SCOTUS. So now he thinks it's a constitutional crisis because Trump DOJ wanted to bring a federal charge against a career criminal who threatened President Trump, and is apologizing to Edward Dana and demanding an explanation from the DOJ. This should result in an immediate misconduct investigation. Yeah. Yeah, so he's like, oh, the judge knows and all this stuff. Faragui, yeah, Faragui. It's going to prevent people from getting rounded up off the streets. The feds have time to collect stats. He apologized to Dana. Yeah, judge slams him for being past the Rubicon and dismissed federal charges, who is charged with threat against the president. Or past the point of a constitutional crisis. Yeah. This isn't the first time Faragui has gone off on the administration and the Trump DOJ. Yeah. Also, keep in mind that Edward Dana was on probation when he was arrested. He has 9 prior convictions and 23 prior arrests. In June, for instance, an order of unsealed in federal court in Washington showed Magistrate Judge Faragui ripping into the prosecutors after they tried to convince him that they needed to be highly deferential to the request to keep sealed a warrant in an ordinary criminal case. Blind deference to the government? That's no longer a thing. Trust that has been earned over generations has been lost in weeks. Yeah. These norms are being broken, must have consequences. The high deference is out. Trust but verify is in. How did we get here? Oh, Honorable Zia Farrakwi. Look at him. Needs to go. Should be immediately removed. Because I don't think a magistrate has a lifetime appointment. Because here we go. We got one FBI, two bad apples, both from the same family. Recently fired Special Agent Walter Giardina, who orchestrated his wrongful arrest, and his father-in-law, former FBI Director Larry A. Potts. It's a chilling saga of two disgraced agents linked by blood who have forever stained the Bureau's reputation. Well, wait a minute. Navarro, his father-in-law, they're not linked by blood. Come on, man. What are you doing? What are you doing, Navarro? Bad Apples was FBI's number 2, demoted after 2 of the deadliest failures, Ruby Ridge and Waco. Oh, Larry Potts. Wait a minute. Oh, this guy was involved in Waco and Ruby Ridge. At Ruby Ridge, Potts was in the oversight chain when the FBI adopted special rules of engagement stating any armed adult male could and should be shot. It was a license to kill. Randy Weaver's 14-year-old son was shot dead. Vicki Weaver was shot in the head holding her infant daughter. Wow. Potts didn't receive so much as a censure until 95. And he was still promoted that same year to deputy director by his friend, Louis Freeh. Apparently, shit rolls uphill at the FBI.
I said, Dad, what happened? And he said, I've been shot. And, at this point, my mom had stepped out of the door and she was screaming, what happened? What happened? And get in the house, get in the house. And we all get piled up in front of the door and I hear what is like a gunshot going off in my ear. And Mom just drops to my side. I knew what had happened to her.
Maybe that's what he was meaning. I don't know.
I thought it was the end for all of us at that point.
Sarah's mother, Vicki, took a fatal shot to the head as she held the family's 10-month-old baby in her arms.
Then came Waco, a 51-day siege, armored vehicles, tear gas. It ended with a massive fire. 76 men, women, and children died. Potts helped oversee the debacle. Facing backlash, Freeh demoted the same friend he had just promoted, but it wouldn't be Potts' last scandal. Pottsgate soon followed. To expense attendance at Potts' lavish retirement dinner, FBI senior managers created a fake paperwork for a fake ethics conference at Quantico. GAO investigates FBI travel vouchers. The Senate Judiciary Committee has ordered a special investigation to determine how many FBI officials submitted fake travel vouchers for expenses to cover their attendance at a 97 retirement party for former FBI Director Larry Potts. Yeah, I think they shot their dog too. Yeah, that's what started the whole thing at Ruby Ridge. Is they shot the dog, the kid shot back when they fired at the dog. Committee Chairman Patrick Leahy and one of its highest-ranking Republicans, Chuck Grassley, also directed the GAO Congress's investigating arm to find out whether an earlier internal inquiry by the FBI was adjudicated fairly and fully without any conflicts. The FBI study in '99 said the dinner for Potts was known throughout the Bureau as Pottsgate. It was one of the series of events that convinced many employees that there is a double standard of discipline, one for senior executives and another much stricter for rank and file employees. The FBI's internal inquiry into the party found that both voucher fraud and a lack of candor on the part of several special agents in charge who attended the dinner under standards set by FBI Director Louis Freeh in '94. Both offenses warranted dismissal, but the SES board issued only 4 letters of censure after reducing the misconduct to inattention to detail and inappropriate travel. The internal inquiry focused on 9 senior officials, but 5 retired and were not punished. That's right. Anybody who shoots a dog is despicable, unless the dog is attacking you or someone you love, or attacking someone. Choice. Falsify records as a field agent, you're fired. Do it for the boss's party, you get a wrist slap and a pension. Potts retired in '97. The rotten corruption that defined his tenure remained. Here's the "you can't make this up" part. Potts is the father-in-law of Walter Giardina, the same FBI agent who staged my handcuffed leg irons and circus airport arrest in '22. Whistleblowers backed by document released by Chuck Grassley have linked Giardina to the Steele dossier, Crossfire Hurricane, the Mueller probe, the Egypt Red Massaria hoax, Operation Arctic Frost. Gardenia allegedly vouched for the fabricated Steele dossier. Hillary funded Steele dossier, served on Mueller's special counsel witch hunt team, and allegedly may have wiped his bureau issue laptop. They then staged my circus-style airport ambush for the cameras. Turns out Gardenia is at the center of nearly every lawful attempt to stop Donald Trump. Senator Grassley once named Larry Potts a symbol of toxic FBI culture. Now he's blown the whistle on Potts' own son-in-law, Gardenia. 2 decades apart, same senator, same warning, same bureau, same rot, same family, same names. You can't make this up. This isn't just about me or President Trump. It's about lawless, unaccountable FBI and political protection racket it began. This must not stand. Lock them up. Start with the investigation of Walter Giardina. It was Ruby Ridge and Waco. Yeah, Timothy McVeigh. Definitely. He was at Waco. He supposedly saw what happened. Yeah. Peter Navarro at the FBI, the rotten apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, we're not going to read this because we just read his stuff. So it's basically the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So, yeah, there's that. And this is from the Article 3 project. It says, thank God President Trump won the last election, because just imagine we had 10, 20 million people in Biden's 4 years. Just imagine what Democrats would have done over the next 4 years. We would have lost our country. Russ Vought, Tom Homan, and others discuss hopes of a new America under Trump. Conservative government officials and national political figures gathered in Washington, D.C. for the National Conservatism Conference this week. Delivering impassioned speech on the movement's goals and ideals, many of which are being implemented in the Trump administration. The conference brought together politicians, scholars, and activists advancing nationalist ideas. Russ Vought, Center for Renewing America founder. OMB Director Russ Vought was among the keynote speakers. And he says, whether it's being more judicious with why we're going to war that gets you called an appeaser or gets you called an isolationist, you're talking about issues of faith that get you called a bigot. We're talking about why we would possibly upend critical race theory that you would get called a racist. And so there's a certain toughness to the national conservative movement that I think is entirely healthy. It's allowed us to enter the moment that we're in, far better chances of success. Vought said to a cloud, many nodding to each statement. Vought discussed the rise of a durable national conservative movement shaped by Donald Trump's agenda, focused on preserving the country and confronting issues such as immigration, CRT, and transgender policies. He emphasized the movement's toughness, criticized the bureaucratic state, and called for aggressive constitutional reforms and lasting intellectual institutions. We're at a moment of precipice because what's on the line. And what's on the line is that we have not just one existential issue, not just two existential issues, but many, many existential issues. The fact that we're up against a bureaucracy that is 100 years in the making. Someone call it a deep state, someone call it administrative state. I would call it a woke and weaponized administrative state. The close ally of the president and central architect of the Project 2025, conservative policy blueprint, and restructure of the federal government, Vought emphasized the changes in racial tensions and culture wars, as well as the disdain for critical race theory. Remember, President Trump said, if you want to get rid of it in federal government, I want you to fund it. I did do that, Vought said. You know what that was? Anytime you threw the word racism at a public official before that, they would go run. It's been the kryptonite at the right for decades. That doesn't exist anymore. He continued touting conservative successes in not only influencing politicians, but also citizens. And that toughness, the ability to withstand the attacks of the left, has been paramount. It's been the thing that you cannot account for, and it's been their strategy playbook for over 100 years. And the border czar Tom Homan spoke after Vought. He said, first today that we have the most secure border in history. The sanctuary city things will be a thing of the past, he said. Homan highlighted and deemed the major improvements in border security under Trump, citing a 96% reduction in illegal immigration, praising policies that led to the removal of over 380,000 criminals and terrorists since January 2025. Well, 380,000, that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit, you know. There's a difference between Biden and Trump. We're using the laws on the books to enforce immigration law. We're not making this up. Everything we have done is in the statute. The statute says you come to the border illegally and enter. The statute says you shall be detained. not maybe, not think about it, not release to an NGO. That's what we've done. According to ICE, attacks on its agents have spiked dramatically in recent months. The agency reported a 1,000% increase in attacks since July, with an 830% rise in assaults between January and July 14th, compared to the same time period. No, ICE is not the Gestapo. One of the reasons we have the most secure border in our nation right now is because ICE, despite all the hate rhetoric that they are taking, the men and women who don't like, they're going to do this. Go complain to Congress. Holman criticized the Biden administration for reversing measures, blamed rising illegal immigration and increased crime and exploitation, and defended ICE against negative portrayals by the media and Congress. Holman didn't shy away from controversy, offering an emotional defense of Trump-era policies. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Holman didn't shy away. They don't want to hear another word about the cruelty of the Trump administration. He said Trump saved thousands of lives by rescuing children every day because of the incompetence of the Biden administration. Yeah. They sold this country out for they sold this country out for political future political power. And I think that's borderline treasonous, he said. The speech is stuck, a combative tone, framing the conservative agenda as a direct challenge to what was described as a hostile political and cultural establishment. Mike Davis, Trump ally, former lawyer for the president. These are Marxists. Many of them hate America, and they're trying to destroy our country from within. Many of these leftists were appointed by Barack Obama and Joe Biden to the federal bench. What we're going to have to deal with. Thank God Trump won this last election, because just imagine if we had 10, 20 million people in Biden's 4 years. Imagine what Democrats would have done over the next 4 years. Speakers consistently praised Trump and emphasizing a central role in the national conservative movement and enduring loyalty he commands among its leaders. Throughout the event, a unifying theme emerged, a collective commitment to fundamentally reshaping American institutions through the principles of national conservatism. Well, that's very interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Holman should be man of the year. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. How do you feel about mandatory voter ID? I think it's awesome. All right, so that's the end of that one. Oh, I don't know why, but a bunch of my X things are not open. I gotta like refresh them. Oh, this is good news. Breaking news, federal appeals court for the 11th Circuit blocks Obama-appointed federal judge Kathleen Williams' order to close down Alligator Alcatraz and halt construction there. Additionally, she is blocked from proceeding. Yeah. Additionally, she is blocked from proceeding with this. Yeah. Additionally, she is blocked from proceeding with the case until the Florida appeal is complete. Big win for Florida and DHS. Yeah. It says here, like here, by Judges Lagoa, like Jordan Branch and Lagoa. District Court, Trump was thinking about nominating Lagoa instead of Amy Coney Barrett. And I'm going to tell you right now, Lagoa would have been much better. District Court issued a preliminary injunction barring Florida and the United States from engaging in any additional construction, ordering the site closed. After careful consideration, we grant the defendant's motion and we stayed a preliminary injunction of the underlying case. Right. Mm-hmm. No. How many are too many? Did you hear about no's preventable death? Of course not. That's why you do this. They postpone the death of 1,000 people. That's right. Here's Ron DeSantis says the mission continues at Alligator Alcatraz. The media was wrong. The leftist judge has been overturned. The Florida will keep leading the way.
The mission continues on immigration enforcement. The media was giddy that somehow Alligator Alcatraz was, quote, shutting down. And we told them that that wasn't true. There have been illegal aliens continuing to be there and being removed and returned to their home country. But they ran with the narrative because some leftist judge ruled implausibly that somehow Florida wasn't allowed to use our own property to help the federal government in this important mission because they didn't do an environmental impact statement. Well, we said we would fight that. We said the mission would continue. And I'm pleased to say that the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has just stayed that ruling and stayed the case. So Alligator Alcatraz is, in fact, like we've always said, open for business. The mission continues, and we're going to continue leading the way when it comes to immigration enforcement.
Awesome. Yep. Mm-hmm. Build more now with additional gators. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There we go. Mm-hmm. Keep them locked up. Mm-hmm. DHS says this is a huge victory for Alligator Alcatraz. Yeah. Well, Lagoa was a woman. Lagoa is a woman, but she's supposedly she's way better on the Second Amendment than ACB. She's way better on other stuff than ACB, in my opinion. Yeah, not seeing much of Dr. Jill either. A huge victory for Alligator Alcatraz. Today's order is a win for the American people, the rule of law, and common sense. The lawsuit was never about environmental impacts of turning a developed airport into a detention facility. It has and will always be about open border activists and judges trying to keep law enforcement from removing dangerous criminal aliens from our country. Full stop. Right. Doge says detention facilities like Alligator Alcatraz aren't waste. They're frontline defense against cartel-driven chaos. The environmental lawsuit was a Trojan horse for activists desperate to sabotage enforcement. Every illegal alien processed here is one less threat to American communities. Detainees aren't tourists. They're lawbreakers who forfeited their right to privacy the moment they crossed illegally. Florida's Everglades facility proves that states can act when DC bureaucrats stall. Opponents scream cruelty while ignoring the $150 billion annual cost of illegal immigration. Secure detention is not optional. It's the price of sovereignty. Yeah. Federal judge orders Taiwan to surrender to wonderful and benevolent Chinese owner. Yeah. This woman says, Kathleen Williams is the same lunatic activist judge that held Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer in contempt of court for violating her bogus order to stop enforcing law that makes it a crime for illegal immigrants to enter Florida. These radical judges must be stopped. Yeah. Held them in contempt. It seems inevitable that the U.S. District Judge would hold State Attorney General in contempt after he violated her order to stop enforcing a new law that makes it a crime for undocumented immigrants to enter Florida. After all, Uthmeyer told state law enforcement agencies that they could arrest migrants who illegally cross in the United States and then arrive in Florida, despite a restraining order issued in mid-April. Laurel Cleveland says, huge win for Trump administration via Florida with the 11th Circuit staying the injunction ordering the shutdown of Alligator Alcatraz. Says Lagoa Circuit Judge, the district court issued a preliminary injunction. We grant the defendant's motion and stay the preliminary injunction in the underlying case pending appeal. Lull. Mm-hmm. In its order granting the motion for preliminary injunction, the district court concluded that plaintiffs established associational standing based on their members' aesthetic, conservational, and recreational interests being adversely affected by the faculty's operations. The district court specifically noted light pollution affecting members, ability to observe the night skies, and noise pollution impacting members' ability to observe their interact with wildlife. In reaching this conclusion, the district court did not mention that, although located in Big Cypress National Preserve and near the Everglades, the site was a working airport with close to 28,000 landings and takeoffs in the prior 6 months alone. Bright lights kept on 24/7 and a lack of noise abatement requirements before the site's conversion to a detention center. While this seems a significant omission from the district court's analysis, it does not seem necessary for us to resolve for purposes of stay motion, and we leave in the merits panel whether together it's all possible deficiencies in the plaintiff's standing. So in other words, before considering these factors, however, we find it necessary to discuss the nature of the plaintiff's claim on appeal here. The plaintiff sought and obtained injunctive relief based on an alleged violation of NEPA in 7-county infrastructure coalition v. Eagle County. The Supreme Court recently addressed whether NEPA does and does not require as well as the role of the federal judiciary considering a claim asserting a violation of that statute. Inexplicably, other than a passing citation using the see also signal on page 46, district court's order does not mention the Supreme Court's most recent decision about the statute lying at the heart of this case. The pretzel posture of the judges rightly leave the appellate court skeptical of at all of their reasoning. Now, we flagged the additional aspect of district court order that further undermines our confidence in the court's reasoning. That's right. In light of the district court's erroneous conclusion on waiver, we are skeptical of its cursory analysis of the merits of the venue issue. That said, we refrain from wading into it. Called it, yeah. Court order filed. That's right. And Josh Gernstein says 11th Circuit panel votes 2-1 to allow Trump and the Florida officials to keep open Alligator Alcatraz. Majority Lagoa, Branch, dissent Jordan, Obama. Yeah, so of course Obama judges. Hmm. 11th Circuit blocks the Obama judge order to close down Alligator Alcatraz. Federal Appeals Court on Thursday blocked the judge's order. Last month, District Judge Kathleen Williams, an Obama appointee, barred the Trump administration from bringing new illegal aliens. Alligator Alcatraz is a detention center for illegal aliens, many of whom are rapists, murderers, and designated foreign terrorists. The facility, which operated over the summer at the direction of Ron DeSantis, is surrounded by Florida's natural defenses, including gators, pythons, and just dense swampland. Judge Williams previously cited environmental violations for her 2-week pause. The facility that can continue to operate and hold detainees, but workers will be barred from adding any new filling or paving or infrastructure for the next 14 days. They didn't do any paving or adding infrastructure. That's the joke. Williams issued a preliminary injunction barring the administration from bringing new aliens. Court enters a preliminary injunction prohibiting the state, federal defendants, or officers from installing any additional infrastructure, industrial-style lighting, or doing any paving, filling, or whatever. On Thursday, the Court of Appeals voted to keep Alligator Alcatraz open. So there's that. And the same thing in the Sun Sentinel just says appeals court blocks judge's order to shut down Alligator Alcatraz. I mean, there it is. All this stuff existed. The roads, all this stuff, the cement you see was all there. They're just using the existing cement. So it's all a joke. Then there's this order. It says, finally getting around to the splintered Fifth Circuit appellate opinion of the Alien Enemies Act. It'll get back to SCOTUS because SCOTUS sent it to the Fifth Circuit this year. And I think I have a new favorite judge, Andrew Oldham, a Trump appointee. He took a blowtorch to his judicial colleagues, including those outside the district, related to their unprecedented interference in the president's authority to execute the AEA and immigration policy. Some highlights. For 227 years, every president of every political party has enjoyed the same broad powers to repel threats to our nation under the Alien Enemies Act. For President Trump, however, the rules are different. Today, the majority holds that President Trump is just an ordinary civil litigant. His declaration of a predatory incursion is not conclusive. Far from it. Rather, President Trump must plead sufficient facts as if he were some run-of-the-mill plaintiff in a breach of contract case to convince a federal judge that he is entitled to relief. That contravenes over 200 years of legal precedent. My favorite line, as it transmorgifies the least dangerous branch into robed crusaders who get to play act as multi-judicious commanders-in-chief. Or multitudinous commanders-in-chief. Sorry. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, the two judges who granted the preliminary injunction, Bush appointee and a Biden appointee, turned themselves inside out to insist that hundreds of thousands of illegal Venezuelans, including those tied to Tandelaga pouring over the southern border, did not represent a predatory incursion. Judge Ullman minced no words. The danger TDA posed to our nation is hard to overstate. TDA is not just some gang, it's a deeply intertwined with the sovereign nation of Venezuela. And this right here is the ever-loving point. Oldham, do we really possess the wisdom and capacity to make sensitive national security determinations when hostilities begin, but somehow lose them over time? As far as I know, no federal judge has received a single intelligence briefing about TDA and the AEA. But even if the Constitution gave us the power to countermand the political branches' determinations in this area, we could not possibly do the job with anything more than judicial whim or gut-level instincts based on ill-informed, unbriefed judicial guesswork. Nothing in the AEA extends a clear and affirmative invitation to the courts to begin sticking their nose into sensitive foreign policy decisions implicating the war power. On the contrary, the AEA's terms, purpose, and construction leaves no doubt Ludecki, the controlling case law. It leaves full responsibility for the just exercise of this great power where the Congress has constitutionally placed it, on the President of the United States. The footnote speaks for itself. But as far as I know, during the Great War, German nationals did not violently overrun apartment complexes in the United States, murder law enforcement officers in the United States, or savagely beat to death innocent nursing students in the United States. Tren de Aragua has. And under the AEA, the answer is simple: the president. The president has the power. You could feel Oldham's fury at the judiciary's double standard applied to President Trump. 2 short years ago, the Supreme Court of the United States held the president has unreviewable enforcement discretion to arrest and not to arrest alien terrorists and aliens within the violent criminal convictions. See United States v. Texas. Today, however, the rule is different. 2 years ago, the president had unreviewable power to arrest and not arrest violent terrorists. But today, the federal courts can award habeas relief to violent terrorists who are not even parties before us. The majority's approach in this case is to not only unprecedented, it is contrary to more than 200 years of precedent. It reflects a view of the judicial power that is not only muscular, it is Herculean. And it reflects a view of the executive power that is only diminutive. It's made subservient to the foreign policy and public safety hunches of every federal district judge in the country. I love your favorite line from Oldham, and it transmorgifies the least dangerous branch into robed crusaders. Play act as multitudinous commanders-in-chief. I put it on a pillow. Well, everybody, I want to say thank everybody who's been here and who stayed and who liked and subscribed. But the goal has ended, and we did not reach it, so we will not continue for another hour. I will see everybody Friday night, though, at 10 o'clock. So tonight, Friday night, 10 p.m., be there or be square for Jim to tell you the news. Jim will tell you the news. And Saturday and Sunday, too, more than likely. I'm going to send you over to Pat Dixon again. Please say hi to him. Tell him Jim sent you. And no one else is live that I see that I want to send people to that I know. So, peace. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe and leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm.